Yo. It's Grapsody with Will, Phil, and Reg, trying to keep it real instead of what you usually get from these talking heads. It's Grapsody, we're here to fill the void. 3 black fans, different perspective, got to fill your voice. Coming with the podcast, talking majors, indies in between. Yeah, it's all that, and we're down with Fightful, better fall back. Coming for respect, we connect like a ball bat. No need to double check, these are all facts. You're listening to us talk raps. You're listening to us talk raps. Will, Phil, and Reg. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps. Yeah, we're Grapsody, here to talk raps.
It's Friday. It's a very different kind of Friday because I'm not used to podcasting this early on a Friday, but it's Friday. And this is Grapsody, and I'm Will Washington. Now, I'm not alone here because I'm also joined by Philip Lindsey.
Vendredi. It's weird. Man, what a weird week, man. I'll just go in by saying that. Very strange week. Very dour week, in my opinion. Some obvious ups in some ways, but a lot of real lows this week, man. You got idiots on Twitter being idiots as usual. Somebody tell Kyrie Irving to just shut the fuck up. Just seriously, just shut up. It's just, I don't know, man. Just dour times, man. I don't know. You have loved ones, man. Tell your loved ones you love them, man.
Straight up. Definitely tell your loved ones you love them. That's what I've been feeling the last couple of days. Also, here is Righteous Reg, by the way.
In the building, as always, it's your boy, Media Man, your favorite rapper, your favorite writer, your favorite podcaster. Friday, just like Phil said, it's one of those weeks. It's things are weird as fuck. So yeah, we're gonna try to bring you guys a little bit of excitement for your Friday morning. Start your week off hot with some wrestling news, some hip hop news. Some other news, just life, just all kind of things.
Yeah, just and things to talk about and things to. I don't know. It's Grapsody, and definitely make sure you're leaving us your thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube, and definitely help support Grapsody. Send us your super chats. Send us your humper chats. Super chats can be sent at youtube.com/Fightful. Just while you're watching the video. Donate a super chat. We'll read them on the show. We'll bring your picture up and all of that stuff that comes with it. Or you can donate us a humper chat, humperchats.com. You can send those at any point, and we've got a few already. I even missed one last week, and I wanted to make sure I read that one. Matter of fact, I made a little bit of a promise that I would read that one, so we're just going to get that one straight out right off the bat. Yeah, I'm going to start out with this one to make sure I do not forget. What I need to remember is when was last week's show, so I can find the date of it. There it is. Okay, so we did get one from Tony P, and I apologize. I actually saw your humper chat and mentally answered it, and then moved on and forgot to actually say things out loud. But your question was, you said, so Dynamite seems more focused in recent weeks, even the ROH stuff. Do you think it was because of the pending ROH deal, or did they figure out how to display different companies, outside belts, and wrestlers properly? There is a deal that's imminently being announced. I mean, that's I feel like that's fairly out there. That's not necessarily news. At least I hope it's not. But there's pretty much, as I said on Grapsody last week, or maybe I said the Sunday after Dynamite. I don't know. It's all starting to run together.
Straight up.
But I said that having talked to, this was on Day After Dynamite. Now I remember where I said it. I said having talked to a couple of ROH adjacent wrestlers, they seem to be of the belief that the show is imminent. That that's essentially what all of the use of Ring of Honor on TV is about, is getting it established in front of fans so that when it comes time to pull them to their own brand, it's all there already. So it's happening soon, soon.
Maybe they'll make an announcement at Final Battle.
That's my guess, is that it'll be announced at Final Battle.
Right.
Because I don't see any reason to do it before. I mean, I guess you could do it at Full Gear. Full Gear is only, 2 weeks from tomorrow. You could also do it at Full Gear. Yeah, I mean, there's
It'll
always
probably
time.
just be better to do it on the show. It's focused on ROH on the final battle, so you're not muddied in the.
I mean,
the
I'll say this: Full Gear is guaranteed to do more buys than Final Battle, right? So,
definitely,
like,
definitely.
I feel like you could almost drive buys to, like, almost looking at it, and I don't want people to necessarily think I'm making the full-on comparison. So bear with me here, but because I think it started out right, and what I'm talking about is WWE's version of ECW, right?
Yeesh.
Where like I know, but like I said, I'm not talking about where it ended up. I'm talking about where it started and how you kind of they used One Night Stand kind of as the pilot, right? It was like, okay, they had announced both One Night Stand and ECW on Sci-Fi as like, this is the start, and One Night Stand is going to be the show that establishes everything about the brand as it goes forward. And so that's almost how I would do it if I were in that booking position of, okay, if I know things are coming after Final Battle, I would announce the show and then announce like Final Battle will be the matches that pretty much set the tone for the show.
Right.
That we're going to establish our champions here. We're going to establish who you're going to see going forward as a part of this brand on Final Battle. And then after that, then it's like Final Battle. Then we have a show.
Right.
That's what I would do anyway. Because then you build more interest for Final Battle as well. Which Final Battle is December 10th. We got a lot of pay-per-views coming up, though. Because
It's a lot of action.
we got Crown Jewel coming up tomorrow. We've got, and then like I said, 2 weeks from tomorrow, it's Full Gear. And then a week after that is Survivor Series. And then 2 weeks after that, we got Final Battle. And
Jeez.
just a lot happening. In the same day as Final Battle, there's also the NXT pay-per-view or premium live event. Although I can't remember for the life of me what it's called. I'm sure somebody in the chat is going to remind me.
Destination or some
No,
brand.
hold on.
It's like a something regular.
No, Deadline. NXT
Deadline. Yeah,
Deadline.
yeah,
That was it. Yeah. So NXT Deadline is
a terrible name.
I mean,
What
I
is
don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to knock it because, although, there was the rumor, of course, that they were initially going to do the, it was going to have Takeover brought back. But I get why they didn't, because nothing's being taken over in this sense.
Right.
And what I mean by that is that the whole point of Takeover, in a sense, was that they were held the same weekend as the main roster pay-per-views, and it was kind of like, here comes the NXT roster to
take over the weekend.
Yeah, to show what we're made of, right? And like that made sense. And then once they stopped being held on those weekends, it was like, well, is it really Takeover anymore? So like, I get it. I get why the name's not really necessary.
Like they should name the WrestleMania weekend one that they just announced tickets for Takeover, but I think it's just called NXT Stand and Deliver or whatever.
WrestleMania weekend, by the way, looks expensive and exhausting.
In LA, it's going to be awful. If anybody's planning on going, I'm gonna let you know right now. It's going to be a very not that great experience. It's going to be very
just with the
expensive.
travel.
Everything's going to be super spread out. It's going to be pretty bad.
Like the warning I will give as a native of Los Angeles, check the birth certificate. It is that if you've never been to LA and you're planning on doing multiple things WrestleMania weekend,
good luck.
Good luck, and don't try to do too many things in one day.
Disneyland is not down the street. It's far away.
No, Disneyland.
You're not going to be able to go to the one thing Disneyland the same day as anything else. Like that's one day taken away. So
look, Disneyland. Disneyland is like an hour and a half from my brother's house, and in most normal cities that would take like 30 minutes.
Yes.
But and he talks like it's no big deal. That's just LA traffic, right? But like when I go to my brother's and he's like, "Yeah, let's go to Disneyland." And I'm like, "Okay." And then I have to account for 3 hours in the car knowing that we're trying to get to Disneyland. Disneyland is nowhere close to anything. I don't even know if I'm gonna get to see my brother because he lives in Encino, and so
He ain't gonna be trying to be over there with all them people.
so I don't know if I'm gonna get to catch him, but yeah, WrestleMania weekend, what they announced, like it's complicated WrestleMania weekend the most to me. Friday Night SmackDown has like really complicated WrestleMania weekend in my view,
Right?
Because
I haven't watched a Friday Night SmackDown in like 12 years for this. We're exactly what you're about to explain, I think.
Like, well, the thing is, since WrestleMania, I mean, they happened the same year. The first year that SmackDown was on Fridays, WrestleMania did the 2-night event. So essentially, you go straight from Friday Night SmackDown to Saturday Night WrestleMania to Sunday Night WrestleMania. Like, there's no gap in between. SmackDown no longer is like a go-home show per se, as much as it's like an infomercial. Right. Because you don't want to injure any of the guys who are on WrestleMania the very next night. You don't want to run that risk, but it's like also these guys are wrestling tomorrow. So we don't want to run any risk of doing anything spectacular here. And then you got the Hall of Fame. Like, it is really just a complicated night at this stage now, or a complicated few nights, to the point of where I can't see trying to include SmackDown the way that, like, you obviously want to include Raw in your weekend because, like, night after WrestleMania Raw is always a big thing. But the SmackDown, I don't know. It just
find something better to do with your Friday night if you're gonna be in the area. Don't go to SmackDown. Like, find something.
But doesn't SmackDown also include the Hall of Fame now?
I think that might be the combo pack that they're doing.
Where is it now? No. I thought you were saying no. I thought. Let me see. WrestleMania.
So I know they're having the shows at the formerly Staples Center. It's now the crypto
yeah.
arena.
Hold on, I have them all pulled up. So, yep, it is Hall of Fame. So it's going to be Friday, SmackDown, and then Hall of Fame.
Okay.
Saturday,
that's a draw, I guess.
Yeah, Saturday, Stand and Deliver in the afternoon at the crypto arena, crypto.com.
And then doing that again.
That's awful.
Right, and then in the evening at SoFi it will be WrestleMania.
Ew.
And then Sunday, SoFi WrestleMania, and then Monday back at Crypto Raw.
That Saturday, I don't know about the Stand and Deliver to WrestleMania pipeline with LA traffic and a billion more people here in attendance, but I guess it worked in Texas, so I don't know.
Did it really work in Texas though?
I don't know.
It didn't seem like a lot of people that were that hyped to go to NXT. That Saturday, a lot of people.
Well, again,
were going to
the thing I worry for most people about is public transportation.
Yes.
Not just public transportation, but like Ubering, things along those lines. If you're expecting to get to Uber and stuff, just know them prices are gonna be high.
And
so
LA
just plan
too.
your WrestleMania weekend. Just plan it smartly. Draw a map if you need to, but just plan it.
I think that's also LA, and you guys are gonna have a great time. There's a lot of sites. Like, even just kicking it, you're gonna see a lot of cool shit. So.
Oh yeah, I just did my annual LA trip. Although I might go one more time this year. I don't know, because I did a show for my brother's shoe closet earlier this year.
Right.
So who knows?
That's some baller shit too. We just have to remind everyone from my brother's shoe closet. His closet, I did a show from. That's hard.
I did. It was hot and sweating, but I did a show from his shoe closet.
Yeah.
I don't have a shoe closet, but that was good times. And yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking about LA right now because as folks who are watching visually can see, I'm in my winter coat right now because it snowed last night. It was the first snow of the season.
Ooh.
And it is cold. It was 27 this morning.
Eesh.
And I do this show from my basement, the coldest part of my house. I'm surprised I can't see my breath right now because it's cold down here. So pardon me having the coat on right now.
Yeah, I thought you was the Fonz when I first came on. Like, the bro got the leather jacket on. Hey,
it's cold. I had to take my kids to school this morning, and so I had to get up and out. And
27. I don't even know what that means. It's like 58 degrees over here, and I'm like, this is the coldest I've ever been in my entire life. Someone help me. And that's nothing.
Nah,
You guys would have
20
shorts on over here.
It is 27 here in Colorado. Oh yeah, no, the 58. Like it was 58 the other day, and I'm like, I need to go for a walk. But
I'm like, give me a blanket. Where's the heater at?
yeah, that's how
Bed.
both my brothers are like that though, because of course my other brother Curtis, he moved from Colorado to Florida, and he moved 6 years ago. Every time he comes back, like he complains about 60-degree weather now because Florida, he don't know what 60-degree weather is. He'll be like, "Oh, I'm freezing right now. It's 60 degrees." Like, okay, get out of here. So I want to take some time to read a few more of the messages and then get into some of the topics we have on tap for this beautiful Friday. And I still say beautiful Friday because here in Colorado, like people talk about their fast changing weather. It's only because you don't live here and you don't live near mountains, because even though it snowed last night, skies are clear blue. There's not a cloud in the sky right now. It is like when it snows here, it is sunny the next day. So like we have like blinding ass snow where you can't see because it's all reflecting off the white on the ground. It's really bad. That's it though. That's living here. All right, we got one here. This one is from TKA 256.
Did you get the guy JD's humper chat from last week too?
I missed one from I missed another one from last week.
Yeah, did he like tweet us and say you guys missed our missed our humper chat or something like that?
Oh man, did it? Damn it! What did we miss last week?
You said JD,
like,
and I was triggered. I was like, who? I don't think we're supposed to talk about him on this show.
Nah.
I mentioned yesterday on Day After Dynamite, like, what are you doing, man? Like,
Just stop it. Just stop it. Stop in your tracks and delete. That's it.
Nah.
Lesson of pain.
For a second, we was talking about Space Jam last week. For a second, it looked like the Monstars were running up the score on my man.
Straight up.
Knocking all over this dude. Like, get this guy out of here.
It was alley oops and everything out there.
Man, I seen it. I seen that ball going up and going back in. And I was like, all right, well, y'all have a blast.
Enjoy yourself.
TKA 256 says, wrestling is supposed to be fun, but we can't pretend the Saudi shows are just wrestling. They're sports washing. Saudis are a brutal regime paying WWE to make them seem less so. Remember that they're currently executing LGBTQ people and so on. I mean, this is what I said yesterday on Day After Dynamite, that it is sad to me that the sports washing has worked, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yep.
4 years ago when these events started, 4 fucking years ago, we're heading into year 5. This, as a matter of fact,
10-year deal.
Yeah. So we are well into these shows. They started 2018. People forget that, like, it feels like an eternity ago that Brian worked that Greatest Royal Rumble.
Right.
And
he's in there for like 70 minutes or something. That
Yeah.
feels like forever ago.
with his red ass chest by the end.
Man.
Yeah. I'll just say in relation to that humper chat, it's not the Saudis, it's the Saudi government. That's a very important distinction here. You don't want to make it seem like the people of Saudi Arabia are doing this. This is the regime in place in Saudi Arabia.
And that's what kind of gets muddied up a lot pretty often is we forget that big giant stadium of people, they don't have anything to do with that. They just want to go watch WWE. They're excited to be having a big giant show. So like, yeah.
Yeah, it's again though, like I said, it is interesting that
Like our government sucks, but we watch a whole bunch of shows here.
like, but they're also not government run per se. So yeah, because it really started with I want to say the first Crown Jewel, where because like Greatest Royal Rumble really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like Braun Strowman ain't walking around with that green belt anymore, and none of that mattered in the grand scheme of things. But then when the first Crown Jewel happened and they pulled Shawn Michaels out of retirement and then they spent weeks actually building up to it, all of a sudden it was like...
That was a nasty show, man.
Bald head Shawn Michaels, never forget.
I know.
That was a nasty show.
Goldberg and Gilbert.
Somebody this week said that he got $3 million for that though, and I'm like, hey, I would have been out
Is
there
that
too.
the same show where Shane pinned Roman Reigns? Or was that
They was wilding. I don't
No,
know.
that wasn't that show because that happened. I want to say middle of 2019.
Roman
but
got.
he
I don't
won
know how he
something
got
at
out
that
of
show.
there.
Did he win the
best in
trophy,
the world trophy,
best in the world trophy?
Yeah,
Did that
he,
one?
he beat
did.
Dolph Ziggler for the World Cup,
Yeah,
and Shane McMahon was
Shane.
for the next year the best in the world.
Shane was wilding for a
Boy,
minute.
I do not miss Shane McMahon on my television.
I'm
that
saying.
that final year of Commissioner Shane as the commissioner of SmackDown Live
Brutal.
was something, man. I remember being so upset about that final year of SmackDown Live, really because like the second to last year, I think is some of the best stuff they had ever done, right?
They got some good shit.
And that led to Kofi. And then, like, the very next night, the night after Kofi won the title, I should have known what his brain was in for. But the night after Kofi won the title, Vince is like, actually, we're going to have the wild card rule where everybody can just appear on every show. And it was like, so essentially, you're not even giving Kofi the chance to be, like, the champion on your show because now you're allowing the Universal Champion to appear on the show. And you're allowing the WWE Champion on Raw, making him secondary to the Universal Champion at the moment. Like, if you don't have a hard split, one of your titles is going to be devalued. And the fact that they did it, like, the next night just made no sense whatsoever.
You sons of bitches. We'll never forget.
The only thing I really liked about it, and it's partially what made him losing to Brock suck as well, is that the second Seth showed up, Kofi was like, no, I can beat you too.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm champion. I can beat you too. I want your belt too. And of course, they did the dumb DQ finish, but that's part of what I hated about the Brock match as well, because he just lost that match, and all the defiance we saw from him leading up to his title reign and during his title reign just went away. He just decided, I don't want a rematch. I'm just going to go away and accept this. But that was the story for his entire time as champion. Why would he just accept this now? Never made any sense to me.
No, it was the worst thing.
As you can see, we're still very triggered. We'll never
I'm
stop.
still very mad about that. It's been 3 years.
One of the worst booking decisions this company has ever made.
Big facts. Yeah, we'll never forget ever. Even if Kofi's like, it's not so bad, we're still never gonna forget.
And look, I did see that comment. And look, we love Kofi because he is a poised individual. Again, I say all this time that he's he's kind of Barack Obama of wrestling in some ways. He is the best of us. He's going to say everything that we should say, but nah, I still hated Kofi. Sorry.
Yeah, it was whack as fuck.
You guys see the picture I posted yesterday of me, T, and my boy Jeremy? We went to Raw 7 years ago. It was actually a tradition of ours for a couple of years. We went to a Raw 7 years ago. We were dressed as the New Day. They put us on camera and all of that. I forgot about this until it came up in my pictures, but I was Woods, T was Kofi, and Jeremy was Big E. Jeremy's bigger than all of us. And
put my man Jeremy on blast like that.
Nah, I mean Jeremy, this is a big dude. Like that's it, all the props in the world to Jeremy, who, by the way, successfully, I have to give Jeremy his props. When I announced that a little over a year ago, when I announced I was departing RBR, was the first person to be like, "You're going to Fightful, aren't you?" And I was like, "Why would you even know that?" I didn't say anything. I didn't even hint that. And he's like, "That just seems like something you would do." And I was like, "Shit." Well, you're right. I was like, "You're right. It's true. You did successfully guess it." But anyway, so shout out Jeremy for getting that one right. But anyway, yeah, that used to be just the thing. And it just reminded me of especially those first 2 years, how important the New Day was to me and has been to me as an act, as a wrestling fan. Like, it almost pains me that I find the New Day so stale today because
it's unfortunate.
I hate how they're booking them. Hate it.
Because it's not even that I'm one of those like split them up kind of people. I just feel like I was all in on just a year ago, right? On all right, Woods is King of the Ring, we're doing something different. Like they're still sticking together, but now the focus is on Woods as a singles competitor. This could be good, and Kofi is very willingly playing support to him in the same way that they all played support to Kofi, the way they played support to Big E. This could be good. But it lasted like a month. And Xavier even got a new theme done. He got a Mega Ran theme done. Never going to hear that theme again.
Crazy.
And that's part of why I feel like the group feels stale today, is because they had the opportunity to do something different with them and are just like, nah.
No, they treat them like a novelty act. They treat them like basically like they're washed. And it's like, no, these guys can still wrestle. These guys still have plenty they can do. Stop acting like they're just there because they held this record years ago. And you can throw them out there and run a stat. Former WWE champion Kofi Kingston, treat him like he was a former WWE champion then.
Right.
Yeah, I just want to see more. Because, like I said, the New Day meant everything to me. 2015 New Day, like, them guys as heels were... You have to understand. The fact that they got Bootios on TV.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they got... most of the things they got on TV.
Man, that clip just went up of them doing the Booty Warrior stuff.
Right.
That clip of them doing the cuffing season thing. The amount of jokes that I think that they've gotten over creatives' head because they don't know what it's a reference to, and they've gotten on TV and been able to do them.
Hi.
Incredible.
No, are you kidding me? Big E talking about tip drill on SmackDown?
Yes.
There's not a chance any creative member knew what they were talking about.
No way. 0%.
When Big E said, "What about when the rapper Nelly slid the credit card down the," and like, I'm just thinking, there's zero chance Vince knew what he was referring to.
No way.
No, I mean all of the backwoods stuff that Woods was doing. They don't know what backwoods is. They don't know what that's a reference to.
They just think that's a funny Woods joke.
Oh my god!
Now, if they would have said, "Hey, in that Chubby Checker video, you remember when he did the shuffle?" Then Vince would have knew what he was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. No, he referenced something like Bearcat. Then they were like, "Oh, you're onto something, buddy. Sounds like a good homage."
That said Chubby Checker talking about doing the twist.
Oh yeah, Chubby Checker, I love him. Chubby Checker.
So a slight backstory is I told Reg before the show that my stomach was hurting, and of course,
So we can't tell jokes.
Oh, it hurts. It like actually hurts. So anyway, there's a lot as far as any of that's concerned. But what else we got? You know what? Gotta go with another. And shout out to the homie Jennifer, always with the support. Jennifer says, "Happy Friday, Grapsody gents. Just the weekly love to the terrific trio. Keep your heads up and keep shining. Thank you for always taking the time to interact and just be amazing."
Thank you.
Thank
Jennifer.
you for always
Appreciate
supporting
you.
Jennifer.
Thank you for doing all that you do, because we really appreciate it.
Yes.
It's an easy way to get your day brightened with a nice Jennifer tweet for sure.
And now we have two super chats or humper chats from Tony P. Tony P says, "The only comeback WWE has left is Banks, Naomi, Punk. But after that, what will they have left if they can't get a star like MJF and the Elite?"
That's a good question.
Not only that, it seems like Triple H / NXT favorites aren't doing well and not translating to the main roster well. I mean, it depends on who. I think that I feel like some are working, some are not. Because like I did want to at some point, maybe soon. And now that I say that, why not now? All right, we're gonna play a little game. I once played this game with Joe Holbert and Jeremy Lambert on back on the old days of the distraction. I was on the show, and we did a little game where we talked about everybody that had been signed / debuted during the pandemic, and we graded them basically to say, like, how did these pandemic acts end up doing with in terms of television, in terms of the fans. Now, we're in 100 days of Triple H. I would like to go over everybody who has been brought in.
Oh boy.
And give a grade so far. Everybody who's been brought back.
Okay.
Now, I will say,
is this like drink chance, or you could say one answer, yes or no, or drink, because I'm about to drink when somebody comes up.
I will say I'm not going to include returns from injury. So, like, I'm not going to include Bailey here. But I'm going to include people who were once not in the company and brought back under Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So we will start with, at the very top of the list, first person brought back, Dakota Kai.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with a B. The reason I'm going to go with a B because they have done stuff with Dakota since she's come back with Damage Control. She has been featured in main events as a champion. She has been tag champion. You can say what you will about the tag reign. That reign was a bit underwhelming. But they have been featured pretty heavily on Raw. I don't think that they have a consistent plan for Damage Control as a group. And I think that that's the issue. But I can't say that they're not featuring her in Damage Control well, because they're on TV constantly.
Right. Yeah, I think I would agree for that B rating, just because they're not just on Raw, they're on SmackDown too. Like if there's a women's match since SummerSlam, they've been either featured in it or like surrounding it, like something to do ever since SummerSlam. So yeah, and then when it comes down to it, a lot of the matches have been really good too. Like the tag matches they've been having, and
the matches
she's been in. So yeah,
I'm gonna say C plus, and the reason is because look, I love Dakota. I think she is one, just a genuinely great person, and not just that, but I also think one of the most solid performers to come out of NXT. I think on the booking side of things, it is great that she's gotten to be there consistently. And I agree with that being on Raw, SmackDown is a great thing. And she's tied to the top heel in the women's division.
Right.
Without question, that rules. I do think that there have been some hiccups along the way, such as I don't know why they lost the tag tournament in the first place. They shouldn't have.
That was dumb.
And I also think that as a faction, and really the first of their kind in terms of being what should be a major heel faction tied to a top heel, I think having Bianca dispose of them single-handedly also was a bad look. Especially as they're the tag team champions. And I also just wasn't a fan of taking the titles off of them in the way that they did. So right now, there's a lot about it that I don't feel is working.
Pretty bad.
Honestly, what it feels like to me, and I said this Monday night, I'm ready for them to get to Survivor Series, get to the War Games match, and move on. Because it feels like very similar to when they were doing the PCB and Bella stuff, in that we're doing this repetitive stuff every week with the three factions against each other. You got to have the tag team out there, and then Bianca cheerleading. Then you got to have Bianca out there cheerleading. Out there having her match, and then the tag team cheerleading. And then you have like this big smize afterwards. It's like, it's so repetitive, and they do it every week. And that's not to say that some of it is bad, but we've just seen it so many times, and it's just like, all right, we'll get to the point with this. And so I feel like a big issue with the Damage Control stuff is that they've been dragging this out to get it to Survivor Series.
Right.
And as far as just like how they booked them as a tag team, I don't think them losing Monday would have bothered me as much if they did lose the tournament. Losing the
Right.
tournament and giving them their first big win like that, and then going here and then having them to lose again, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I don't know. Asuka's becoming the Seth Rollins of the women's division and having unnecessary tag reigns with random opponent just to throw them together.
I mean, people forget how many tag reigns, by the way, Seth Rollins has had. Like, when
Yes.
I forget, whenever I
Yes.
see that picture of Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman as tag team champions, I'm like, this feels like a fever dream. Why?
Man, Braun Strowman.
Wait. So I'm going in order of the debuts, by the way, of the returns. But
Well, no,
unless you have something else.
I'm saying all of his tag team partners.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought
Braun
you were gonna bring them
Strowman, Braun Strowman, Buddy Matthews,
Roman
randomly,
Reigns.
yeah, Roman Reigns, Jason Jordan,
Jason Jordan.
this dude is the king of random tag team championship reigns. Like Dean Ambrose.
Yep. Like at least Ambrose and Rollins, or Ambrose
and Reigns
and
make
Reigns
sense,
made
but
sense.
like
Yeah.
Jason Jordan and Braun Strowman, you're like, what?
Yeah,
What happened?
yeah, and the Buddy Matthews one was weird because at the time they had a tag team in their stable,
Right.
Oh yeah, AOP was in the stable.
and they were like, "Nope, we're tag team champions." I was like, "Okay, interesting, but all right."
All right, so this one's a twofer. Ready for the grade? Karrion Kross and Scarlett. I'll go if nobody wants to say it. I'm gonna go with a D plus, and simply because I don't like none of their stuff, and it doesn't feel like any of it's over. But it's, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, at least he's being used and he's in a prominent position, but man, none of it feels like it's clicking at all.
I'm gonna go with the D. I never really have been into his stuff, but I thought that him and Scarlett was going to really work in the WWE on the main roster, but it's just not clicking at all for me. But it's not the worst. This is what I'm saying. Like, I get the whole appeal, I get everything that he's doing, but it's just not. It's just like there.
I am going to go with a C minus because I'm still tentatively waiting to see what is the plateau with Karrion Kross. Because at this rate, I've been saying since I've pretty much made up my mind that he was coming back. And I wanted to tweet to him that day. I was like, "Oh, they're strapping a rocket to him when he comes back. He's gonna be in the title picture. You guys just wait." And all these people are like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, he's gonna be in the title picture when he comes back." And so, I found personal amusement in watching this guy come back and be featured pretty heavily. When he's not there, they give him video package. He's almost like Poochie. It's like when he's not there, we should be talking about Poochie. And so I do think that he's used well, but I won't say he's used well, but I do think he's featured a lot. But it is also amusing watching them try and force Drew into the stuff with them, and it hasn't really worked well. I didn't think the Extreme Rules match was necessarily good. I thought it was extremely funny for all the wrong reasons. I thought that whole segment of him being in a car accident and Drew just randomly showing up like the chicken in Family Guy to start a fight was just like, what are we doing? Everything they've been doing with him is weird. Him hitting him with the pepper spray to win, or him choking him out, and Scarlett is just like crawling all over the ground and rolling all over the ground and saying yes, finish him. All of it is just so bizarre that I've got all of these unironic laughs out of it, and on that level, it's entertaining. But it's not entertaining in the way that it's intended.
Myron Kidd,
that's what they're going for.
We got a super chat from Myron that says, Karrion Kross just ain't that dude. Let's keep it real.
But the thing is, I do think the guy is pretty good as a wrestler. I just think they are just so in on trying to get us into his gimmick that it's just not working, man. The way
plays
that people
mind games, Phil, psychological.
all of the we gotta cut on the gray filter when he comes in, and the lip syncing, and the entrance, boy, I am unpopular opinion. I never thought that entrance was that great.
When are they going to figure out that the color grade switch never works? When they gave Sin Cara the different lights, we hated it. When the Fiend had the red lights, we didn't like it. It never works. We never like it.
I'll give it
think the guy
credit.
can't
It
wrestle,
worked
though.
one time. NWO's entrance. And that was it. And even still, did we even need it? Because like the NWO was actually a little bit cooler without it. But
Yeah.
it worked.
Yeah.
We talking about the 2003 version?
2002, yeah.
Yeah.
But mark my words on this. I'm still holding to this prediction. At some point, Karrion Kross will be champion.
I believe that too.
That is a prediction.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
At some point, he will be champion.
But I'm glad you guys missed what I said. I said, yeah, he will be Impact World Champion. I agree. So
I think he was already that. So.
I know.
He ain't definitely going back there. No. He ain't going back there, buddy. Based off how he left, nah, that's not happening.
All right.
Shout out to MLW
Yeah, I'm,
getting
like,
to
trying
feature
not
them
to-
on feature him on their show last night, and he's been in WWE.
All right. I'll tell you what, though. When I brought this list up, I was not intending to be negative about it.
Oh,
I will say that.
God.
But as I'm looking, like, as we keep going to the next ones, thus far, I've given out, what, a C and a D. And now, Dexter Lumis.
Oh,
This is the one for me. This is a solid D- for me. This Lumis stuff has been garbage. I'm sorry. It has been absolutely awful. And don't get me wrong, I thought the Gargano stuff this week was actually pretty good. And the whole him doing the whistleblower thing, boy, very risky business doing a whistleblower storyline on your television show when a whistleblower just got the CEO of your company out of here. But I thought they pulled this off well. I thought all the Gargano stuff in that segment was good, but I still think the Lumis stuff with Miz is just not good. I think that they've managed to salvage it with the Gargano thing that they added in, but the weekly stuff was not good.
Yeah, now granted, Lumis has not had a match yet. So
Yeah.
I'm still in a wait and see mode as far as that's concerned. But as far as this angle is concerned, I have thought also this has been like doo-doo. And I am not a fan of I guess the Gargano stuff this week, I will say, was a interesting twist on it all, because I have felt like everything involving The Miz has been stale for about 4 years now. And this was like the epitome of stale. I thought that birthday celebration they did for Miz was like the exact same segment they did earlier this year with the anniversary stuff.
bro, when he interrupted Roman and no one cared at all.
Boy, crickets.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I will say though, because we just talked about like wrestling humor last week, I do think that some of the humor in that Gargano stuff was actually funny. Him doing the reenactments and it had his face blurred and you could clearly see it was him. Hilarious.
No, that was good stuff. I agree with that. My grade for Lumis is a D- in that anything he's been involved in beyond like that first week when he showed up, I have not enjoyed at all. And so, God damn it. I'm looking at the next one on the
Y'all are
list.
playing Big F. The payoff to this is a match with the Miz. The payoff to this is a
No, he's
match
working with the Miz,
with
right?
the
Because
Miz. F.
he's working
No,
with the Miz, right?
But well, no, because the story was that Miz hadn't paid him, so then it turned real.
Now he's
Oh,
beefing.
he's-
That's the payoff.
he's-
A match
okay.
with the Miz. F out. Gone. Ew.
All right.
Remember when Dexter showed up on Twitter with that Dipset shirt while he was working out? Yeah, good times, man.
All right. Hit row.
I can't. I'm nervous. How about it, Phil?
I'm watching the chat and there. Okay, I will go. Hit row. D from me, in that the places where I will give them credit. Man, the chat is just lighting up. The F's in the chat are dropping. But I will say the places where it's working, it has added some depth to the tag division. The places where it's not working is everywhere else. In that they started out hot with the crowd. The crowd was like, "Hey, we got Hit Row back. This is exciting." And those reactions have died ever since. The rap they did in Canada, like, they got booed after the rap, and that was painful to watch. I think this was an act that was probably more complete when they got called up the first time, because they had their singles competitor in there. And now that it is not a complete act, I would have sent back to NXT to kind of refine what you want them to be as a team. But yeah, this is not working.
I am going to say, because I just gave Dexter a D-, I am going to go the solid D+ for Hit Row. And the reason I'm going to say this, I don't think the wrestling's bad. I don't think what they're doing necessarily is bad. I think that WWE immediately told us what they think of Hit Row in several ways. I mean, for them to put them straight in a feud with Legado and have them lose without Swerve was very telling. And then the next week to have them only win because Shinsuke stepped in and Shinsuke got the win, it's not a great look for them. And that's not their fault. That's the way they're being used. And I think it's also the fact that they don't really have tag team feuds. They don't have real non-title feuds. And if you're not one of the teams they've decided is going to be like the challenger of the month for the Usos, then you're doing nothing. And I feel like that's been the issue with that tag division basically all year. And so I don't think that Hit Row is bad. I do think there's still potential there. I just think they're not using them very well.
Do you know what's sad about this list so far? Like, thus far, I don't even ever want to say these words out of my mouth. But, like, it feels like Vince was right on a lot of this stuff. Like, that is... But I don't want to feel that way. And so, like, I think with Hit Row, it was one of those cases where...
This Friday podcast is crazy.
I know. Like, I don't want... Look, I want
Hill's leaving.
Not Vince is right.
Hill's out.
Oh, no.
Like, I don't know. Something is not clicking. And like, I can get the desire to want to bring the act back when you saw what you could accomplish with Swerve. But once you knew you couldn't get Swerve back, that should have been the end. That should have been it, or at least you should have gone, okay, well, there was still time to...
God, put some respect on Vince's name.
Like, there was still time to develop...
Jesus Christ.
There's still time to develop Ashanti. There's still time to develop B-Fab. There's still time to develop Top Dollar.
What do you mean? Ashanti's plenty to develop. What do you mean?
And so...
Big develop.
There's time to develop. And when I say develop, I don't necessarily mean develop as wrestlers. I mean develop as an act. I mean, like, figure out what you want to do with these guys, because they just kind of dead dropped them into the show and were like, hey, remember us? We were here a few months ago. Like, I don't know. That it's just not clicking with me. Oh my God. The chat after I said that. We got a super chat. Graham B said, "Oh, yeah." In a quote, Will Washington said,
I'm definitely not saying that. There were some of these that they released that I think Vince was definitely wrong about.
No, I mean, I think Vince was wrong in releasing Hit Row in the first place, but I think bringing them back without their key singles player was a mistake.
Well, yeah, I think bringing them back without a plan was the biggest issue.
All of
even
this
if
has
you're
been-
gonna bring them, even if you're gonna bring them back that way, I think that you gotta decide what the plan is for them moving forward, and they just don't have one.
Right.
Yeah, Myron says Swerve not being there hurts them. Swerve was the true headliner of the act. He was. But remember, if you listen back to Grapsody a year ago, I had concerns about this at the time because
Veer and Shanky.
I had, by the way, shout out RJ City for his pointing out that AEW has Swerve and WWE has Veer. And if you haven't watched it,
I love RJ. Man.
if you haven't watched AEW with Swerve this week, it's really good. I tell you, I had never put that connection together until literally RJ City saying it. It
Swerve
was
and Veer. What a guy. Oh my God. Veer.
But anyway, it's I had concerns last year when Hit Row got called up, and remember I was saying in our group chat, and I said it on this show, I was like, I'm worried about them presenting them as equals and not Swerve and Hit Row. And I'm like, because you're failing to acknowledge that Swerve is a 12-year veteran, that he's been around the block. You know, he's one of those guys that you should be talking about the same way you talked about a lot of other guys when you bring him in, of like, this person's wrestled around the world. You know, you brought in Finn Balor, and you're like, he is a world-renowned wrestler. He's been everywhere. Like, that's how you should have been presenting Swerve on the main roster. They did that in NXT. They talked about where he had been before. But on the main roster, they were just like, yeah, look, it's all these guys. They're all the same. And I was like,
I even kind of felt like towards the end of the NXT run, it got like that because AJ started doing that show, and they were like, "Oh, we like this guy too." Like, so he's as cool as Swerve was. Like, they were at least present it like that.
But at least all the way to the end of the NXT run, Swerve at least had a belt, and that was at least enough to tell the fans, "This is our singles guy." Yeah, that he's the guy in this group. But as soon as they came up to the main roster, they were like, "Actually, they're all the same." And I thought, no, like,
they're not.
Literally, if you put all of their if you go to Cage Match and put all three of their matches together combined, they don't make up one page of Swerve's wrestling history. Like, it's not the same. They do not have the same experience, and that's okay. Like, because one has been around much longer than the others. It is okay.
It's just time.
It's just time.
Yeah, it's also okay to acknowledge that Swerve was the biggest star of the group.
Yeah,
that's just the truth of the matter. And I mean, I don't think that means they were dead in the water after he was gone. I think that they could have signed them and used them well. I still think they can use them well, but I would question people that are saying that they're just terrible. Name me a storyline that Hit Row has been in since they've been back. Name me an actual feud they've been in since they've been back. The Legato feud, that isn't really a feud. It's just kind of like one-off matches. There's no story there. They don't really have anything going. There's no programs that they're in. They're just kind of there doing arbitrary things every week.
We've got well, thank you, Caden. He says, "Well, looking fresh AF in that jacket." Okay, I see.
Fresh as a Miz.
Hey.
I mean, I suppose Bow Wow's a topic to get to.
Shout out to Bow Wow. Shout out to Bow Wow, man. You gotta respect the shot, but nah. Jade played basketball and she got to the body, bro.
Jade got the blocks. Yeah, you're not about to get nothing past her.
Doing that.
All right, I think we can finally get to some better ones now. Johnny Gargano.
Is this better?
I'm gonna go with a C+ for Johnny Gargano. I think Johnny Gargano's matches have been good. I think the segment last week was good. I just said Saturday, I don't like a lot of the humor they're doing with him, but I think that he's got a lot of goodwill going there. And I mean, I feel like he made the right decision by going back. I'm glad that he's doing Rebel Heart again. I'm glad that they are centering him as a babyface. They're not trying to do that weird heel stuff that they were doing with NXT towards the end. They are specifically going, this guy is a babyface. I like that he has been the guy that was on NXT for a long time, so they don't ignore any of his NXT history. And I think that's been the biggest strength of his time on the main roster so far. Like I said, all of it isn't for me, but I am going to go with a C+.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a B-. I will say that the humor he's doing has not been for me at all.
Yeah.
And I thought that he had a bad look against what's his name, Baron Corbin.
Well, I mean that.
But
That match was too long, and you've got JBL.
yeah. But I will say that I thought the return itself was excellent.
Like
I
that.
think that positioning him with as a semi-top guy on the show has also been really helpful for him. And I think that he's getting to go out there and show out and have good matches. And I think it's very clear they're behind him. I want to see better as far as the use of him is concerned. But I do think that ultimately he's probably one of the better returns so far.
Definitely. I'm going to go with the C, a solid C. I love Johnny Gargano. I think he's an incredible talent. I think the humor could get a little bit silly, but who cares? It's kind of a part of his character. But he's been attached to Baron Corbin and The Miz, and I just can't. I can't get into anybody that's been that are attached to those guys.
This Corbin stuff ain't doing it for me, bro.
It's not. Yeah. It's awful. He has the worst theme song I've heard in a long.
Horrible
that's
theme
casino
song.
Music, casino commercial music. That is an awful song.
It absolutely is. Steakhouse commercial music.
Yes, it is.
It's awful. JBL doing his Fox News promo this week.
Yeah,
was
see,
awful.
I can't. No, not the Dan Lambert promo. Like,
good.
Why do they keep trying to get this over on these wrestling shows for us?
Because he was in Texas, and you know what they're trying to get over.
Yeah, I guess it was.
But
But yeah, I think like in 6 months, I'll say that Johnny Gargano's at a B. Like, I think he's gonna be the one that, like, when he gets when he gets through this shit, like, I think in the Royal Rumble he'll have like a strong showing, and I think like things are gonna continue forward for him from here.
I didn't even think about that, but JBL actually definitely did have steakhouse music. Like you could
He did, huh?
You can picture that steak sizzling in the commercial, some gravy pouring onto a mountain of potatoes.
Longhorn Steakhouse. He had the Longhorns on the front of his limo.
You heard that music and all you could think of was a blooming onion, bro.
Straight up.
All right, we got one that probably will create some controversy here.
Oh God.
The next one is Braun Strowman. Can I go?
Yes.
Sure.
A. He's been the most successful one here. I actually feel like
you're not saying like you're saying like A, like as in the letter, not AYE, like A.
I'm saying A as in the letter. I think Braun is the one guy that this company gets. They fucking know that people just want to see him destroy people, get these hands. He's not doing the choo-choo shit no more. Like, honestly, I think Braun is a guy that WWE just seems to understand. Like, they let him come out there and destroy the tag division, and people were like, actually, the tag division is going to be fine. How many of them guys have been fine since then? How many of them have you seen since then? But Braun is a guy, ultimately, the fans were cheering that shit. They were like, yeah, Braun, destroy everybody. And look, what's the biggest match you could do with Braun Strowman? What is the biggest thing you could do with him right now? Omos. And they're doing it.
Is that the biggest thing you could do with him?
At this stage right now,
like,
yes.
Biggest as far as like size.
As in, like, what's the story that people like? It is Goliath.
Yeah, no, people
Goliath,
like
right?
that. They want to see them shoulder block each other and nobody moves, and they want to see them do the big giant shit.
Oh man,
especially in over where they're gonna be in. They're gonna eat that shit up.
Oh man, we're gonna be polar opposites on this. I don't think the Braun stuff is good. I don't think the Braun stuff is good, and I think he is indicative of the problem with a lot of these returns is that they don't have a real plan for him. I think that he's definitely over, but I think that he was one of those guys that they should have never released.
Agreed.
I think that.
I think it was just a case of he was being paid too much. I think they were like, we got, like, if we can cut any, like, millionaires off our roster, we should, like, do that now. And that was, I think.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with a B because I can't say that he looks bad. Doesn't look bad.
Right.
I just think that for a few weeks they were doing the squash matches over and over again, and I feel like we're past that with Braun. Braun has been a former champion.
That's how I feel too.
You don't have to do all of that stuff to get us to believe he is a monster again. We already been here. We've been down that road. And there's no way that you get me to believe that a guy that is pretty still inexperienced in Omos is a big match. Like, that's not a big match for Braun. We're talking about a guy that had matches with Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. That's not a big match for him. That's a match to do something with Omos because we're not doing anything else with Omos. But it ain't a big match.
Yeah, I think I'm going to agree with. I like Will Washington's point here that they are doing like this is exactly what people want out of Braun Strowman. Like, they brought him back and they were like,
fair.
let's have him tackle people, be big, destroy people.
I mean, look at the YouTube views on everything he's doing. It's like people are just like, yeah, he's
people like that.
I mean, people like Braun, and that's why I'm like, he was one of those guys that he's an attraction guy. He's everything that WWE wants to do with characters and larger than life guys. He fits there. He belongs there. But I that's why I'm saying I don't think they should ever release them. But I still think there's a problem here because what is the ceiling for Braun right now?
Right. I'm going to go with the B- just because there's not really like how many matches has he had? Like, there's not really a lot.
I like the Otis match, by the way.
The Otis match was excellent. Otis has been excellent.
Otis has been hidden, honestly.
Otis has been excellent, man. Look, him doing the Chris Farley stuff this week just was a little bit of a hint of who he was as Wrecking Machine Otis and Heavy Machinery Otis. And I was just like, just turn him back to a face, man. Just let him be who he was. Let him have personality again. He's just way more entertaining.
They could do that same act that they're doing as a face.
Yeah, when he busted out the worm this week, I popped for it because I was like, we haven't seen him do it in so long. I love Otis, man. Just let Otis be Otis.
I mean, that act is essentially a face act, kind of. They're not positioned like that roster, but fans cheer him.
Yeah, I mean, just let him be Heavy Machinery Otis again. I think it's not his fault that you guys put the money in the bank on him and then bungled it. That wasn't his fault. It wasn't because he wasn't over. That was because you guys fucked up.
He was still over even when they were fucking it up.
Are you kidding me? People liked all of that courtroom stuff and the stuff he was doing with Miz. I thought it was kind of goofy, but people loved it.
My only one beef with Braun Strowman has been back in 2016. I was at a house show, and I had front row seats. And Braun just stood in front of me, and I couldn't see. And so I said, "Hey, Braun, take 2 steps to the left just so I can see." You know what he did? He backed up and got closer and was like, "I'm gonna block this man's view. You're not gonna see nothing the rest of this as long as I'm out here." And Braun just stood there in front of me.
But you gave him an A though.
But you gave him an A though.
I know, right? That's how generous I am.
Wow.
Now, this next one hasn't gotten to do much, but I do think a loss off the bat already hurt this particular person. I am referring to one Candice LeRae.
This is, again, I think one of the issues with these returns is it's just like, here's a return. Cold. And it's like, I feel like you can't drop someone like Candice in cold because she doesn't have the goodwill that Johnny had. She doesn't have the fanfare that Johnny does. I feel like you've got to build up story. You got to give her something to do. And it doesn't feel like they've had any plan for Candice since she got back. It was just kind of like, here's Candice LeRae. And it's like, cool, but yeah, so far it's a dud. And I don't want to say it's a dud in the sense that she's not good because she's incredible. No, she's a great wrestler. And I think she's good at character stuff when they give her the chance to, but they haven't really given her anything to do. And so just based off of that alone, I'm just going to go with a D. And that's a reluctant D, but that's not her fault. That's how they're using her.
I like Candace so much. PWG young boy, it sucks to say, but damn, they're just not using her well at the time.
It's a D for me as well. I think that the hard thing for me is that there was a way to do this. Yep. I think that, look, she had a baby this year.
Yep. Looks great.
Looks great. God, video package that, man. Tell us.
I hate that we have to do that, by the way, when women come back. Oh, they look great. But she doesn't look great.
No, but I mean, it is look, if it were up to me, look, I'm a dad. I recognize that when my wife got 3 months maternity leave, that was not enough time.
Right.
And like, if it were actually take that back, she got a year with Veda, but there was circumstances around that. But either way, I recognize how much time it takes to get back to your normal self, and that's in a non-athletic position. And so thinking about in an athletic position, it's just I am so encouraged by it when I see it. It's I'm inspired. I'm in awe. I am. And so the fact that she did that, I think that's a story of triumph. That's
Tell
something
that story.
that they should have told us. Like this is somebody
Yeah.
that
They should have built it up more.
yeah, they should have built it up. And that's how I feel. I feel like just dropping her in and just being like, "Look, it's Candace. You know who she is." And the fans are like, "No, we don't." But like,
Dropping
you
her
could tell
in
us.
cold was a mistake.
Yeah,
It's funny because there's been a bunch of times where they could have done this like before in the past with wrestlers. Like I know the fans are gonna know who these wrestlers are. You could drop them in like that from NXT, or even if you just just sign them. But they've been doing it recently, and it's not the same. You know what I mean? Like yes, we remember. Some of us remember them from NXT, but a lot of the live crowds don't remember that shit or it's out of their mind or whatever. They're like, these are fresh new faces to them. Some people don't know who Karrion Kross is. They don't know who Candace is, or you know what I mean? So this is fresh. You got to tell us why we care.
Yo.
Orion Ben says, "Give me Candace in War Games, God Mom of Deathmatch."
Yes, she should be one of the women in the
She should be in
the match.
at War Games. Orion's other comment that was not a super chat, and him acknowledging that they spent more time doing build up for Lacey's return than they did for Candace.
They did.
And boy, that Lacey return
Whatever happened to her?
has been a flop, buddy. Oof. That's no knock at Lacey, because I think when they do handle her well, she can be an asset, but stop trying to force her into being a baby face. Just make it real, man.
Yeah.
She's just better as a heel. It was good when they were doing the Southern Belle stuff and she was coming out and teasing and then walking away. That stuff was good.
Look, I'm not a fan of Fox News gimmicks on TV, but I will say, if there's anybody I truly believe in one of those roles, it's Lacey.
She fits the role. Like when she was telling them stories, we were like, "Yep, there you go."
Yeah, yeah. She's Liberty Bell. She's Liberty Bell from from Glow.
From Glow.
Just let her be Liberty.
All right, two more. A favorite topic here on Grapsody, Bray Wyatt.
Man, it's so soon.
I know it's been less than a month.
He hasn't wrestled. He's only done the promos. It's hard for me to grade him because it's like, what is the end goal here?
Can I grade then? Right now, granted, your grade can change, of course. I see it happen with my kids. And I've seen what can happen. You can start out really well and then fall off. At the moment, he gets an A+. And I will tell you why. Because, of course, I said it's only been a month since he's been back. But we had a month before that. They got everybody talking. They had everybody going with the White Rabbit stuff, to the point of where they had people going into Extreme Rules ready. That's all they wanted to see. That massive reaction he got. The fact that there was a bump on TV the next night. He wasn't even on Raw, but people were like, okay, we want to see what the follow-up is. It ended up being on SmackDown. People wanted to see it. There hasn't been any wrestling yet, but the fact is people are interested in what he's doing. And the promo he did so far, or the two promos he's done so far in the ring, were good stuff. It's an A+ right now. I think that everything he's done so far has been a hit. Now,
Has the Howdy stuff been a hit?
I mean, it's only 1 week of it so far. I don't know. I'm interested. I don't know what it is, but thus far, I'm not like, get this off my TV. I have not felt that with Bray yet, and I have felt that with Bray a lot over the years. So the fact that I haven't felt that yet, I feel pretty good about it so far.
It's we're guessing it's Bo Dallas buying this mask, right?
Yeah,
It looks like Bo
right.
Dallas. I hope this just all builds to them, like him, Bray going into the locker room, and then Uncle Howdy walks in, and they just sing "Gonna Paint Your Wagon" together and like do like the
On
whole.
a painted wagon. This show is full of the Simpsons references today, and this is great.
You should just do the Patriot wagon, man. Like that would be amazing. I I'm so tempted to just say A because I think they've handled his return better than anybody's return in terms of everything they've done for him, the way that they've built up to this return. It's everything I've been asking them to do with the other returns.
Right.
They actually gave us time to get ready for it. I definitely think Bray was one of those guys that Vince was wrong about. They shouldn't have released him in the first place.
Not at all.
And I think that they've done a great job of rewarding fans for being excited for his return. As crazy as it sounds, Bray has had the best return of the year. And it sounds crazy to say that in a year with Cody Rhodes, but he's had the best return of the year.
I think Cody's was.
I think Bray's was better.
I mean, the fact that Cody came in, had the match of his WWE career, like, I don't know.
Well, the reason I say that is because they had us hyped for weeks off of nothing for Bray. Like, they basically were giving us the QR codes. People were into it. They had people hyped for just them playing music in the arenas in between commercial breaks. No, you can do that with Cody.
I mean, to be fair, they never once said Cody's name the whole time.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there was really no real build for Cody coming there. I feel like the build with all that White Rabbit stuff was better than anything they did with Cody. To be honest with you, all of the Cody stuff succeeded because Cody came straight in and wrestled one of the best guys they have on the roster. But it's true. I mean, listen, we've been sitting on this podcast talking about the Austin Theory stuff ain't working. Banger match this week. Who did he wrestle?
All right, what's your grade, Reg?
I'm gonna give the guy this is annoying. I'm gonna give him a B- because
Let's see. I thought you were gonna be like F. He ruined my weekend.
No. No, because what I was talking about didn't have anything to do with this. That was just me being in my shit. I think it's kind of like the Braun Strowman thing. Like, he's been brought back to being who he should, and this is how you should book him. This is Bray Wyatt. This is the shit, and they're doing exactly all the things that they should be doing. It's not a total A for me because some of it is kind of not for me. But I think
is so disappointed in you.
Yeah,
Said, Reg, let the hate flow through you. What is
no?
this?
I can't see, guys.
What he's doing is great, and I think that all the White Rabbit stuff was so well executed.
I love that WWE specifically did that because they don't do shit like that. So that helps it out for me for sure.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think that they have planned and executed a return this well in a long time, and that's why I say it's the best return of the year.
Like, this was when like Jericho used to come back. Like, he used to be really.
We haven't seen anything like this in wrestling in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, last one. This one's tough because it's only been a month. The Good Brothers.
Come on, man. Honorary GB. We got to get a guy a good grade, man. The guy is working New Japan people and getting people on the internet mad. We've got him bringing back the shirts. Are you kidding me? I've already ordered an OC shirt.
Honestly, I really like what they're doing. They keep getting hit in the dick, and then they sell it for a really long time, and then Gallows getting slammed by Rhea Ripley is.
Are you serious?
Hilarious.
Come on, man. Machine Gun doing the sour boy face on Raw.
Sour boy. Yeah.
In terms of them just
worst.
on them being on TV and everything, they haven't really done anything. Of course, I'm just popping myself on I just think they're hilarious. I think they're great. They're definitely one of those guys too. I thought they messed up. They probably were paying them too much, like they were doing with Ron, and they were just like, why are they getting paid this much? Let's get them out of here. But all of the funny stuff around it, like the tweets of him saying he's never coming back, and now he's on the Saudi tour, he's on NXT. All this stuff is hilarious. gonna go with a B, just because they haven't really done anything. But come on, these guys belong with AJ. It just looks right. I'm glad they're back.
I think this is going to be my very rare A for a return because this man is working New Japan Pro Wrestling at like he booked two shows on the same day, New Japan and WWE. That is crazy.
I am gonna throw out a bold prediction. By the way, I think he is gonna end up wrestling with that title at Wrestle Kingdom.
Really? You think that was the trade-off?
I think that is why he's still working this. I think he's gonna hold this out and hold the title all the way to January.
Wow, that would be very interesting.
Especially I think if anybody from AEW ends up working that show, and there's a lot of requests to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna throw that bold prediction out there. I think he's gonna hold that title until January.
I'm giving it a B+, by the way. I think that AJ feels complete with it.
He does.
And it's given the Judgment Day more to do. So,
yeah.
So, look, it wasn't all negative, guys. No. That ultimately there was, because this started out with a whole lot of shits. And, but it found its way back. So,
yeah, I mean, I think the trend that I saw from all of this, I think we all want to see all of these people that come back succeed. Nobody wants any of these guys to come back and fail.
No way.
But I do think that WWE has set some of them up for failure by not having a real plan for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It seems like they're getting it together with, like, as we said, it was getting better towards the bottom half of it. So, like, I think from here on, they're figuring out that they can't just drop people in cold, and we need a little bit of WD-40 before they throw them on in here.
Yes. We got, let's see, a couple more super chats.
I was going to make a reference to it, but again, you guys don't watch Atlanta Live every week like I do. Mm-hmm. And the funniest thing this week was Al fixing a trailer, and he was watching YouTube videos on how to fix a trailer. And the title of the video was "These Backhoes Ain't Loyal."
These backhoes. That is silly.
Eloquent says, "Y'all heard WSG 10 LP yet?" He did it again.
Music,
Thank you for bringing it up. I've been trying to talk about this damn album on this podcast for 2 weeks now. This album is incredible. West Side Gun did it again. And yesterday, I just can't believe a great thing happened. What a life I live. Like, the time that we live in,
nobody even knows. You have to tell us what it is.
The times that we live in are so crazy. Because, like, imagine in like 1996. Imagine there's a tool in 1996, and you're just like everybody on the world is on it, and you could get followers. And Tupac
we didn't talk
you.
about Emma. My bad to cut you off, but we didn't talk about Emma.
She only had one match.
It's been one show. I can't.
Yeah. So she's out. Yeah. Imagine in 1996, there's a platform, and Tupac follows you. Tupac's your favorite rapper in the world. You love all of his shit, and he follows you. I'm not comparing this man to Tupac. That sounds crazy. Y'all gonna try to clip me. I'm just saying, like, imagine your favorite rapper in the world. You have a thing, and that person follows you. That happened for me. So very soon, it's happening.
West Side Gun did follow Reg.
West Side Gun followed Reg. I can't even I'm acting like a little fangirl. I'm supposed to be hard. It's fucking Griselda. But yes, 10 is fucking hard. Super Cake Party is crazy. The track with Black Star is I haven't heard Talib Kweli rap like this in so long.
There's a track with Black Star in there?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane.
I haven't listened to the album yet. So.
It's nuts. It's like it might be the best song on the whole album, honestly. Talib Kweli, he's been into controversial shit, but he went crazy on this shit. An amazing album. If you haven't heard it, please listen to it. The last track is called Red Death. Shout out to Daniel Garcia, and it has like all the stars on it. It's fire.
I saw somebody say that Westside is doing what DJ Khaled thinks he's doing with collabs right now, because the music is actually good. And I was
exactly.
Like, exactly.
Every time DJ Khaled announces some shit, I'm like, it doesn't feel authentic though. It's like you just got all the biggest. Went through your phone and went through all the biggest.
You got
stars
the Rolodex now, man,
and got them. It's
yeah. I haven't listened to the album yet. There's so much music. I haven't listened to the Gibbs album yet. I listened to some of the Drake 21 album this morning.
There's a lot
Drake
of controversy with that this morning.
Drake is rapping again. I will give him that because when I first started, I was like, okay, are we doing this this Lover's Lament stuff you were doing before? Are we doing techno music? What are we doing? And so I was like, oh, it's actually rap.
There's some bars on here. Okay, I'm gonna bump it then.
Now, of course, he is already upset the Meg stands, and
Yeah, no,
so,
it's been bad this
I don't
morning.
know about I don't know, kind of rough out here, rough going for my guy.
It's funny because you wouldn't. He's not a guy that usually takes sides like that. That's what kind of surprises me about it.
Well, the way that I read the line, man, I am very choose my words carefully here.
I'm like, we can move on if you.
I haven't heard the song. I've only seen the line, so I don't.
I don't know.
I don't know it in the context of the song yet.
Right.
So the line is lied about getting shot, but she's still a stallion.
And that's that's not a subliminal. That is a direct shot.
I know it's a direct shot, but I will say this: it is if you interpret it as a double entendre, it's lied about getting ass shots,
right?
Still a stallion though.
Yeah.
And so that's how I read the line at first, and I was like, why would you even?
Why would you say that?
Song, though?
Either way, either way.
It's just, and so again, I'm not trying to shoot him bail, but I'm just like, why would you do that? Like that, just it's such poor taste.
On an album called supposed to be, what is it called? Her Loss or some shit or whatever it's called.
Well, I mean the title of it is everything at this point that you'd expect it is. It's him being toxic petty boy Drake, and
that shit that y'all like, the captions that everybody's with.
Oh, exactly. And so I knew that what was coming, and man, when I tell you 21 Savage has been having a run, and I mean, I expected more of 21 Savage on this album because every guest feature he's had this year has been fire.
Shout out to the homie Meezy out there. Yeah, no, 21 Savage is going crazy right now.
Yeah, but nah, Drake definitely messed up on this one.
Yeah, probably not the best in this climate. Like, how could you think that was a good idea?
Yeah, and this climate of us starting the show with me telling a certain person it's all right to just shut up.
Well, that goes hand in hand with our next super chat. This one's from Chi-Town Spurs. He says, as a Jewish fan of the show, I wanted to say thank you for all your comments on Kyrie and Ye over the last couple of weeks. Really means a lot to us, and I'm more encouraged on seeing so many people denounce them than I was before. I mean, look, I think it's maybe mentioned it on Ask Grapsody. I don't think it's been mentioned on Grapsody itself. But look, I have ethnically Jewish children, and that is like 50% because my wife's 100%.
Phrase it like that.
Right. And so it's one of those things where, like, man, I have heard some really, really awful shit said. Of course, I've heard awful shit said about black people. I've heard it my entire life, right? Yeah. But then, like, being in such close proximity to Jewish people the way I have been the last 13 years of my life, I've also heard some really awful shit said. And so, like, I have to take a step back and think about, like, I don't like seeing people being pitted against each other when there are people out there that hate both. Right.
That's what I don't understand about it. Like, how as a black person can we judge anybody when we're the most scrutinized? Like, I couldn't bring hate to anybody because there's so much hate brought to me. I couldn't imagine trying to single out another group when my group is so, attacked all the time. It's crazy to me. It's like when in high school, there used to be a lot of like blacks versus Mexicans battles in school. It was bad, but I'm like, I love my brown brothers. I could never. We're in the same fight. How could we ever go against them when we're all fighting the same exact fight? It's just super confusing to me. This whole thing is like, I don't know why they're standing so hard on, why Kyrie and Kanye are standing so hard on whatever they're trying to stand on. It's insane to me.
So hard no more on it.
Yeah, Kyrie's
now Kanye. Like, actually, I was just kidding. I'm sorry, guys, but yeah, Kanye is still super, and I don't know
he's tried to throw out. He's tried to throw out apologies now, but
I mean, did you see Kanye on Twitter yesterday? He is not throwing out apologies right now.
Well, of course, he's always going to find a way to backpedal.
Now his Twitter is back reinstated. He is like,
thanks, Elon.
Yeah, just going full forward. Now, honestly, I know Twitter has been my platform for the last however many years, but I have genuine concerns.
We need an exit plan at this point,
like
guys.
next week, I have a feeling Twitter is going to look completely different next week.
Oh, it's elections next week, huh?
Well, elections next Tuesday, right? But Monday is the confirmed day that they are going to allow the paying for check marks thing. And just like I suspected,
paying for clout, buddy.
Everybody gets one. It's not a case of you still have to verify your identity. It's simply you pay the $8, you get the check mark.
Anybody.
Anybody.
Elon came in with the syndrome plan. Because when everybody has superpowers, nobody's super.
Wow. The bots are about to go crazy. They about to get out all them $8.
So and the hard thing is because people have seen the check mark as a bit of a superiority thing. And look, I am not somebody verified, but I am somebody who recognizes the benefit of the verification, which is simply that, again, we're simply talking about authenticity. We're simply talking about the check mark being there to prove that somebody is who they're supposed to be. So therefore, you can trust them. And I'm not meaning trust in terms of them being honest or telling the truth, but simply that you can trust that it is this person. That's it. That's what it's supposed to be. Which is funny because when you think about why I opened a Twitter in the first place, I don't know if I've ever told the story on Grapsody, but I resisted Twitter for a long time. And then somebody informed me that there were 2 fake Will Washingtons on Twitter back in 2010. I had to create an account because of the fact that I was being I was being spoofed on Twitter. I was being impersonated. There were 2 impersonators on Twitter. I managed to get one account removed, and then the other one actually gave up the handle to me because William RBR was my name on every single platform. That was my Xbox Live handle. That was everything. I was William RBR. But somebody was squatting on the handle on Twitter and posting like spoof statuses as me. And so
Jesus Christ.
And so I was like, okay, I should. So we ended up talking it through, and it was like, please give me the Twitter handle. And they did. They gave it up to me. And so that's how I've gotten it since. But
yeah,
that was the reason I joined Twitter in the first place. But so I recognize what it's like having spoofers out there, right? And what the benefit of being able to prove. Think about how many times people get them DMs from fake Alexa Bliss and whatnot. Could you imagine now fake Alexa Bliss with a check mark showing up in your DMs talking about
they paid $8? That's nasty.
It's gonna get awful out here, you guys.
Yeah, man. I think that's part of why it's been a dour week. I would love nothing more to sit and talk about how much I love basketball. You guys know how excited I've been about basketball since it comes back. Are you kidding me? Every day that basketball's on TV, I've been sitting watching. I've basically watched every televised game. And so I don't want to be
the Nuggets last night, by the way.
Yeah, I don't want to be talking about any of this Kyrie nonsense. I just want to watch basketball. I want the Nets to be in a good situation. I don't want to be talking about none of that. But the guy puts us in a bad situation when you continually, I don't care that you don't like that Nick Friedel said promotion, continually promoting something that had hate speech in it. And people can go, oh, well, the movie wasn't anti-Semitic. It had an Adolf Hitler quote in it. What are we doing? And I've seen people do all of the whataboutism. Oh, well, it's on Amazon. That's what Jay Williams said yesterday. It's on Amazon. Why is it on Amazon? Why are we having the same outrage for Amazon? Yeah, we should be upset that Amazon is selling this. They shouldn't allow third parties to put something on their site and sell it. You're absolutely correct. But at the same time, we wouldn't be talking about this documentary at all if one of the most famous basketball players in the world didn't screenshot it and put it on their social media account. You got to be more responsible than that. You just can't do that. And when asked questions about it, all you had to do was like, hey, I don't believe in that. I am not anti-Semitic. I thought it was an interesting documentary. I misjudged the situation. Move on. That's it. But you spending from Sunday to last night trying to be evasive and not answer questions is stupid. And that's why I said at the top of this show, he needs to shut the fuck up. Because if you're not just going to answer the question, then move on and shut up. Like all of this, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm not this. I'm not that. Just answer the goddamn question.
Mm-hmm. Easy as that. And beyond Kyrie, I don't want to talk basketball because my team are being very silly right now, you guys. I don't know what y'all are doing.
Y'all didn't have a good start last year, though. And
I
won
know,
the
but
NBA
this is
championship.
silly. Yeah, no, I know. At the end of the year, no one, like I said, I'm going to keep saying, I'm going to say it at every podcast until the end of the season. No one can beat the Warriors 4 times. I don't believe it.
Yeah, and so again, I don't want to be coming down hard on the guy. I have been trying not to come down hard on the guy because I like Kyrie. This isn't an I dislike Kyrie thing. But I just don't think it was wise from the beginning to try and be evasive, to be asked questions in a press conference and, try and moonwalk out of the question and try and get upset when there's a follow-up question. Just give a clear and concise answer, clarify what you mean, clarify what you were looking for from this thing, and move on. And then once it got as bad as it was, just apologize, bro. Just admit I handled this wrong. I'm sorry. That's it.
That's it.
Chris Watson says, content suggestion. Y'all should do a live stream of you guys doing a tier list ranking of every Power Rangers series. I think me and Phil could probably do that. Reg would be like, what the fuck am I doing here after Mighty Morphin?
Just one.
Let's see. We've got another one from Glick Foley, who's there's a great
Glick Foley.
He says, with Punk still out 6+ months, if TK wanted him back, wouldn't it serve both sides to create this perception that Punk's done so the cloud of uncertainty isn't hanging over AEW? Also allows Punk to take his time rehabbing. It's a good point. I don't know that that's the case right now, but it's not a bad point. Anurag says, does AEW have an end goal for the JAS BCC feud? It feels like an eternity. I don't know about you guys, but I prefer Bryan Solo. Need fresh feuds for Bryan. I agree that I want to see, like, it's been going on since before Double or Nothing.
A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've got to get to the conclusion to this soon. I'll say just this one more thing because I see somebody that keeps saying stuff in our chat about why does he owe people an apology when have melanated people ever been given an apology. You're absolutely right that I don't think the response to anti-black stuff isn't as good, and that it's okay to say both things. It's okay to say that when it comes to anti-black things, people don't respond as well. We saw that with Kanye stuff and how he was saying trash stuff about black people for the longest, and as soon as it became anti-Semitic, they canceled him. It's okay to say that, but again, that doesn't make what they're doing is right, and it doesn't mean that they do not owe people clarification.
I feel like, look, we should be demanding out of anti-black rhetoric what they got out of anti-Semitic rhetoric.
Definitely.
That is the proper response. I agree with that. I don't believe that the proper response to that is, well, y'all don't take care of anti-black rhetoric, so we should be able to say anti-Semitic rhetoric.
Right.
No. We need
Two-
to be
two-
taking
two
care
wrongs
of
don't make a right here,
two
man.
wrong. Yeah, I'm not a believer in two wrongs
Exactly.
make a right. I think we need to take care of how anti-black rhetoric is handled.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
Not
also
fight it, not
Right.
fight it with anti-Semitic rhetoric.
Right.
That's
and
it
I
doesn't
mean,
do anything for anybody.
yeah, and I mean while we're on this low topic, because we'll just go ahead and say it. I didn't talk about it when we were talking about the rap stuff. This takeoff stuff was a real downer, man.
Yeah, I have it in the topics list, and I wanted to talk about Takeoff because
It was a real
shit.
downer for a lot of reasons for me. I think, and I'm not this huge Migos fan, but I think in terms of technical ability, I think he was the best member. I think he had the best flow. I think that a lot of times he had the best verse. Are you kidding me? His verse on Commando, some of their early records and how, he kind of defined their sound in terms of flow and everything. He was extremely important to that group. He was a quiet guy. He wasn't the front man like Quavo was. He wasn't a, He wasn't, hanging out with Ric Flair and doing all of the, outlandish stuff, or married to one of the hottest female rappers in this era, like Offset. But when you look at the music and when you look at, stuff like, the content he was giving us, I mean, I'm from Chicago, and seeing him get a Hebrew Brantley cover for his solo album, I thought that was dope. Again, not a big Migos fan, but I love seeing those guys win. And so, man, to just get up and see that guy is gone at 28, it's just really sad, man. And it's just like, I just feel like this is just too often, man. We've gotten on this podcast too many times and said rest in peace to a young rapper or devoted to a young rapper. This just has to stop happening, man. We've got to do better.
It's trauma, man. This isn't new. At 5 years old, I knew people who got shot. At 10 years old, I knew people who got shot. At 13 years old, I knew people who got shot. At 9 years old, I see people get shot. It's like people don't know how much this happens. Every day I hear gunshots outside. I live in Oakland, California. There's a war on black men, and we're fighting it against each other a lot of the times. And it goes along with the same things I was just talking about, how we're just continuously fighting these wars. So how can we fight against other people? But there's so much behind it. This is a jungle outside, man. There's in Texas, in Chicago, in Oakland, in New York, all these places are jungles. They put all these people there that are hungry. Some of them are egos. There's so many factors that go into what can happen in an instant. So many things happened before that instance with Takeoff that led to that. And it doesn't have to do with rap. It doesn't have to do with him being an entertainer. It doesn't have to do with fucking them trying to get jewelry from him. It's a deeper, darker, nasty life that's lived outside. And I don't know. Honestly, we talk about it every fucking week at this point. Every 3 days, there's a rapper that dies. I don't know if there's ever will be anything to stop this. And it's very heartbreaking and discerning, and it really fucks me up. Beyond that, Migos did so much for hip hop. They changed the entire game of hip hop. They changed the fucking landscape. There's rappers in California, rappers in Arizona, rappers in New York that rap like these three dudes from Atlanta. They changed how people rap, how people say their words, they defined an era. There's rappers that came after them because of them. Mumble rap or whatever was off the backs of what these guys were doing, and they weren't mumble rapping, just didn't understand it. They did so much. So this was so fucked up to wake up to and see that a 28-year-old guy that changed something that I loved, he had to play a part in changing it, and for him to just be taken away like that is very fucking awful. I'm tired of this shit. I'm tired of coming on this podcast and saying rest in peace to a fucking rapper for being murdered. I don't know what to do. I wish I could help, and fuck.
Yeah, I mean, on that, I do think they were one of the most influential rap groups of this era. I think when you look at their influence on trap music, it cannot be understated. And these guys are still winning. It's not like, they had just recently basically broken up, but they just came out with an album. They're just doing the Unk and Few thing, and a lot of music I heard from it is good. We just saw Takeoff do an interview where he's saying he wants his flowers, man. It's just,
I know that
sucks, man.
Thinking about that quote was really what got me, because I agree. Phil said something in our private chat, and it really stuck with me because waking up to that news. Look, I've done enough talking about gun violence on various podcasts I've done. I'm never going to stop talking about it because it's taken people I care about, and it nearly took me. And I can't deal with gun violence in really any particular way. It's always too much. And to see, again, you know, growing up, I was 9 years old. Yes, I was 9 years old when Tupac was shot, September 6th, and then died the 13th. And I was 9, Biggie died. And I remember there was this kind of collective gathering of people around the industry kind of going almost like we can't have this again. We can't have this happening to our stars again. And for a little bit of time, I felt like there was kind of this mood of not trying to let stuff like that happen again. And then, of course, Jam Master Jay was killed in 2002. And then that was like a sense of, okay, so there's obviously no limits because Jam Master Jay didn't fuck with nobody.
Right.
And Phil said in our group chat that there just seems to be this lack of value for human life at the moment. And I felt that when he said that because, yeah, I don't know. I know it's corny and I'm a 35-year-old dad. So like, take of this what you will. But like, there is a piece of me that woke up the other morning, was that Tuesday morning, that news hit that Takeoff was gone. And I had to just sit back and just think. I just sat and listened to Migos for a little bit. And I felt like, I don't know, man, somewhere along the way, the love stopped being there. And like, I know, Reg, you said it's not just a music thing. And I agree that it's not just a music thing. But I do think that music is reflective of culture. It's always going to be. That's what music is. As a matter of fact, I would say music is, in a sense, the biggest influence we have. I think
Definitely.
that when you think about, I mean, look at how the numbers exist, how Air Force One skyrocketed when that song dropped, right? Everybody wanted to have an Air
Even
Force
before
One.
that, Adidas with Run DMC.
Adidas with Run DMC. It didn't matter. There is no bigger influence out there. Think about how many women you knew posting the status of I'm 100% that bitch when that song dropped. Music is the most influential thing we have, and it is a reflection of where we are as people and as a culture. And I was working out yesterday, and for whatever reason, look, I grew up with a dad that hated hip hop music, and I never quite understood why. But I started to throw on music from his era, and then I started to get it. That, again, music is a reflection of culture and experiences. And so for me, I didn't see what he saw because hip hop was a reflection of everything around me. It was a reflection of where I was growing up, the time I was growing up in. So I didn't see what he saw. But, you know, my dad, on the other hand, he was that Don Cornelius era, right? My dad grew up with Soul Train was everything my dad grew up with, right? And like, so for whatever reason, I was working out, and I decided, this was just 2 days ago. This was on Wednesday. Was like, I'm gonna throw on, I don't know, the shit my dad grew up with. Why not? Started with some Al Green. I just worked my way down, right? It was just a random playlist that started out of my YouTube music library, and it really did get me feeling like, I don't know if music is where I want it to start or if it just has to start in my day to day. But again, going back to what Phil was saying at the top of the show about telling the people in your life you love them, I just feel like societally and musically and all of that, that's where I want to be. And if I have to do what I can to make that happen, I'm going to. But like, I am in this mode of I just want to spread love. everywhere I go, and that's what I'm gonna do. And hopefully it's a little contagious, but I feel like it's showing the people around us that we value them. I think is the best thing we've got to get back to doing as people.
Yeah, I definitely think I definitely think a lot of this too is just show appreciation to these artists when they're here, man. It seems sad to say that, because I do think that for a while Migos unfairly got a lot of the labels from uh, some of the other rap from this era that wasn't good.
Yep.
And when you look at some of the music they were making and how much they were influencing rap, I don't think they get enough credit for that.
They
I don't
don't.
think I don't think they get enough credit for not just the music, the stuff that they were doing outside of music, like that that whole academics moment and it
Yep.
looked like I got left off Bad and Bougie. That was one of the biggest clips on the internet at one
I
point.
look like I let off bad and bougie.
Mm-hmm.
And no, so like when you just look at like what the Migos ended up doing, like them popping up on Atlanta in that first season and just their impact, I just don't think they got the credit for it. Their appearances on all kinds of things, their appearances on the what do you call it, carpool karaoke, and all the things they've done.
Bro, they
Is
did the Kids Choice Awards, and they talk about like cocaine and stuff. That's like
My
that's
my
monumental,
my daughter's dance recital is to walk it like I talk it.
right?
And that's what they're practicing to. So I did for my daughter, like first thing in the morning. We got in the car to drive to school, and I told you guys I went on a big rant about gun violence and um, that's and then I had to come home and be like, hey, just so you know, kind of implanted a whole bunch of stuff in our kid's head. So,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just, I mean, I think that is also the important thing. It is very sad that he's gone. But I do think people need to celebrate the artist that Takeoff was.
Yep.
Because I don't think that he got enough credit while I was here, and
No
I
way.
do think it was still up for him. He still had so much of a career left, and I don't know, this could be just me, in my 30s, but to me, I just don't feel like for most of us, you don't really start living as an adult, and you don't really start coming into your own until you're like well out of your 20s. He was just right at the cusp, man. He was right there, and he didn't get a chance, and I just think that's terribly unfair.
yeah, I'm gonna tell young people right now, I don't feel like living began for me till 29. I thought I had accomplished a bunch up until 28, but 29 was really where I felt like, nah, we're getting some stuff done. And
Yeah, 'cause I feel like you get a better idea of who you are as an adult. I think for a lot of your 20s, you're still trying to figure it out. And I think that, these guys so fast. And I think in some ways they were still trying to figure it out as men and as artists. And he just didn't get a chance to really finish out his career and do good things and, start a family or any of these other things he might have wanted to do. And that's just terribly sad to me.
Right.
yeah. All right, let's regroup. Let's bring it back. I do want to see, as far as make sure, were there any super chats or anything on the topic before we kind of head in the other directions?
Before we talk about Logan Paul winning the big one tomorrow.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, Jake Paul's there, bro. Come on.
Oh, my God.
What's that visual gonna look like? Logan Paul has the WWE champion.
Nasty,
Oh,
that's
both
what it
titles
looks
in the
like.
air. Jake Paul's in there. ESPN front page. We lit, baby.
That's
Oh, y'all
nasty
gonna be
business.
mad tomorrow. Y'all are gonna be so mad tomorrow.
All right,
This man is
Tyrone says,
Losing, that's what happened.
who knew with Jeff Jarrett and JBL back that I'd actually miss Dan Lambert?
Hold on,
I'm not going
Tyrone.
that far.
Wait
Why
a
you
second,
throwing Jared under the
Tyrone.
bus? Jared ain't did nothing. Jared
Come on.
came through and El Kabong somebody and got an executive position. What he did?
Yep.
A new rag says Brian versus Shibata at Seattle / Full Gear. Can't wait. There are plenty of places you could run that.
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah,
I would like to see. I mean, well, if Shibata definitely came to AEW and said, "I want Bryan Danielson," you run that in AEW.
Run that shit tomorrow. I would have been running that shit tomorrow, honestly.
I mean,
would've been-
hey, he said, according to Meltzer, 2 matches Shibata won it. Bryan, Orange Cassidy. Getting Orange Cassidy tonight, live in Atlantic City.
if Brian is not hurt,
With
and
Mike
he can
Tyson on the
wrestle-
call.
If Brian can wrestle, they better run that shit on Wednesday because you don't. There's too many X factors with these two guys. If they're 100% healthy right now, run that shit. We need it. I don't care about nothing.
Is it fair to call Shibata a ghost at this point? Because I feel like he's done this thing twice this year where they've been teasing something else and they're like, oh, a big return is coming again. We're all looking for something else. And then Shibata's music just hit and it's like, no fucking way. And they've done it twice this year. They did it at Forbidden Door and I was like, no way Shibata's here. And I think that was
but the thing is, at Forbidden Door, and we kind of forgot, that was kind of laying the hits at Orange Cassidy.
Right.
Yeah. And I mean, hey, sorry people that hate Orange Cassidy. Sorry that all of your favorite New Japan wrestlers want to wrestle him because he's great. Get over it. Stop hating on the guy.
Like the greats want to wrestle this guy. The best professional wrestlers that exist are like, yeah, we want to wrestle Orange Cassidy. So like, I mean, what does that say? What does that say?
And I mean, well, actually, they've done this a few times where they've gotten us excited for something and then just randomly threw a New Japan guest in. Like they did that with Suzuki at All Out, and I feel like that was one of the legit surprises from All Out last year.
Right.
But yeah, I was super hyped to see Shibata last night. Shibata versus Orange Cassidy tonight is going to be awesome.
I still
super excited for that.
I'm still like, you guys are joking, and not until the bell rings and they're punching each other am I going to believe that this match is happening.
It's happening.
My brain is like, what? Like, when's the last Shibata match in New Japan? I'm like, how did he? Like, he hasn't had
Wrestle
like
Kingdom, right?
Yeah, and like for his next one to be in AEW with Orange Cassidy, just like my brain cannot compute.
Man, that was this year. Again,
Yeah,
all the returns this year. Shibata wrestled at Wrestle Kingdom this year.
Right.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's been a long year.
Luis says, like Mike, but Bow Wow puts on a lucha mask. Okay. I've been laughing at this in my brain for the last like 5 minutes. But Bow Wow puts on the mask and suddenly wrestles like Ray Phoenix.
That would be hard, though. I'm all in already. Do it. Please do it.
So, my kids don't really know who Bow Wow is. Except, hold on.
He's like a generation above them. They're pretty young.
Why would they? My daughter's 11, right? Like, except they've seen the movie Like Mike a million times. So Billy brought up Like Mike yesterday while we were at the grocery store. And I went, it's funny. The kid from Like Mike, Billy, might be a wrestler soon. He's like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's kind of hard to explain because you don't really know Bow Wow like that. But Bow Wow could be becoming a wrestler. And he's like, oh.
I mean, little Bow Wow. You just don't know.
know.
The way you move real quick around the
Are you kidding me? That was... So, of course, I was in high school when that hit. And I had this friend who was obsessed with Bow Wow, B2K, pretty much you name any act from that time period. She was just like obsessed with them. And that was her thing. We used to tease her all the time with that was like our running gag was we'd be like, hey, Brittany. And she'd be like, what? I said, Lil Bow Wow. You just don't know.
Oh, man.
She'd be like, shut up. Yeah, no, that was...
My little
was
cousin
fun
Brianna
times.
loved Bow Wow. Like, her room was filled with Bow Wow posters. There was the time when those guys, like, and like B2K and that generation was just like dominating all the airwaves.
Oh my god! So look, I was
airwaves, bro.
Right.
I was in the 9th grade when 106 in Park first launched, right? So like my high school years were dominated by 106 in Park. They were dominated by coming to Brittany's house after school. We would go watch 106 in Park, and of course, Mr. 106 in Park is Bow Wow.
Bow Wow.
Of course.
And so that era is...
See, that I don't like. They don't be putting respect on Bow Wow's name. They be trying to get their little jokes off, but no, Bow Wow's been popping since he was like 3 years old. You guys.
I would say that he had the best run for any child rapper
Big
Ever.
facts. Far,
Yeah, and
far
look,
and away. Far and
I'm an
away.
obsessive Criss Cross fan. All right, like if there was one hip hop act that, as a kid, look, I'm one of those rare people who had the Sega CD video game Make My Video Criss Cross
Wow.
and liked it.
Crisscross was fucking cool though. Backwards clothes, like those guys were cool.
No, they were cool, but I
Yeah,
mean,
no, you can't.
Bow Wow was on a different
But what
level.
I'm saying though is
Right.
I Bow Wow eclipsed them.
Yeah, Bow Wow
completely.
is just like he was a fucking entity, like a guy. Like he's done it all. Like, and I'd love to see Swerve stomp him. That would be very cool.
Hilariously, on that B2K reference, I've been saying that every week when Paige is on TV, and I'm like, all right, man, she's about to bump.
Maybe this Wednesday.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That-
I thought.
No,
that,
I mean, the
I thought that.
The
Yeah, I was just
announcement's
gonna
coming next this Wednesday.
This
that
Wednesday.
she's stepping.
Yeah, just
into-
one more doctor. Just one more.
Mhm.
I thought the interview this week was pretty good. I think that's the best thing Paige has done on a
Soraya.
program. Sorry,
Respect.
It's
Soraya.
hard. We've been saying Paige for so long.
I know. It's respect. at
Yes,
this
shout out
point,
to
yeah.
Soraya.
No,
Yeah.
I think that the way they're building the match for Full Gear, I'm assuming, has started to heat up. We're possibly getting 3 women's matches. They already announced the women's title match with Rosa and Hayter. I'm not sure what to make of that. I kind of think it's too soon, but what are you gonna do?
That's what I said. I don't know if I don't know if they should do the title change before they do the Brit turn thing, but then Will can kind of convince me on Day After Dynamite that it might be kind of hot. So I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with the title match.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about some things. So, we got to talk about Rouse because he's a boss. That woo he gave, by the way, was the funniest fucking shit.
It was so loud. You could tell like the mics had to like readjust to how loud it was.
You could tell that Swerve didn't know he was gonna do that either because he was like, "Oh, okay."
The Ross
Look,
bit
man.
was so fucking funny, man.
Rick Ross on Dynamite was that man was having so much fun.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was so into it, but didn't really like derail things. When Swerve was like, "Look, I booked this an 8-man tag," and he's like, "8-man tag!" Like
He was
I was having so much fun with Rick Ross and how happy he was just to be there, and he's bigging up everybody in it as Keith Lee and Swerve are selling the angle, and he's like, "Nah, we keeping it positive." This was great shit.
Yeah.
Ross was great. When I watched it back, and I could see him in the background during all of that Sanjay and Darby stuff. Which, by the way, Darby bouncing off
that was
Sat
crazy.
there saying,
Crazy
that
visual.
thing was one of the funniest things this week unintentionally. Him like looking like he hit the side of a bouncy house and just like, and Ross in the background being elated with this huge smile on his face and like taking videos for Instagram. Hilarious.
Darby Allin be bumping like he a cartoon character. I swear, bro.
It's crazy. So just the fact that he was just so excited to be there, and you could tell he was excited during the segment he was involved in. Of course, we're gonna have to hear accusations for a good year to come.
accusation.
Yeah.
False
it's in.
accusation.
Yes, he has been memed.
Yeah, and so I mean, just the fact that he came in immediately and was memed, that just shows you the character that Rick Ross is. Like, I mean, that clip going around when he was like, "Y'all trying to get me into the almond milk conspiracy," and he was like, "I don't know what kind of almond milk is this? Is this almond of the peanut,
Look,
or is it
he's
the walnut?"
I mean, think about the way he was. Think about the way he was
Ross.
introduced in the Excalibur. Is like, it would take it to the king of the lemon pepper, and I'm like, as soon as he said that, I was like, my brain was like, oh, they're going to Rick Ross. That's
Yo, the mascot for Wingstop at this point. No, all of this stuff with Ross was tremendous. at this point I want him to come back as soon as possible.
Yeah, seriously. Like, when can he come back next week? I'm trying to see him again. That shit was hilarious.
And man, for a guy that doesn't do anything wrestling related, man, he got it. He
understands it. He totally understands it.
Yeah, not only did he make Swerve look like a big star, but he also understood how to progress the story between him and Keith. And he not only made Swerve look like a big star, but he also made him look like a jerk because he's like, what do you mean he cheated? False accusations. He didn't do anything of the sort. We're not here for any of that.
Yeah. But of course, there was one line that Keith Lee had in there that kind of slid under the radar because of the fact that Rick Ross was doing so well. But the line that Keith Lee said of who was behind the camera is the storyline plot point.
Right.
And something that people should be paying attention to. I will tell you, I don't know who it was at all. And I have informed anybody who knows, don't tell me. I want to be surprised. I don't want to know. But
the breast said anybody who knows.
But I'm like, but I am like, look, I am excited at the idea of an accomplice here.
Yeah.
Who is the accomplice?
I'm interested. Yeah, I don't know where they're going with it, but I'm liking it.
I mean, Keith Lee did a lot of things in that segment. I mean, even him saying these are not accusations very calmly.
These are not accusations.
These are not accusations. Hilarious. I just don't understand how you could not.
It's just gonna be Cole Carter again.
Cole Carter showing up and basically getting no reaction, and then Jared Taker just popping up out of nowhere. Hilarious, man. Everything about that segment should have been bad, but I thought it was great. I thought Jared's promo was surprisingly better than I expected it to be. I thought it was great. Him posing,
especially the way he ended it, right?
Yeah, him posing like he did when he joined Bullet Club. Like, what am I doing here? Oh, cool, I'm here.
That's my favorite thing about Jeff Jarrett's returns in like the last 5 years, because he never fits in anywhere that he's in, any group that he's in.
At this point, I enjoy every time we see Jarrett, because it's just like, what are you doing here? And he's just like, well, had some time today, so might as well be here. Well, guys are in Nashville, huh? Well,
and he don't ever just
got something for your boy.
He shows up and gets a bag too. He don't just show up. He's like, okay, I'm gonna show up and I need a check too, like a big.
He showed up and got an executive position.
He shows up, he's in an executive position, shows up at SummerSlam, and he's in one of the biggest angles at SummerSlam.
We're still confused about why he was there.
It's so great, man. I'm sorry. It's hilarious every time I see it, man.
Yep. They're talking about NWO 2000.
It's out of place. With his guitar.
Oh, man, we got the TNA theme. Come on.
My World. My World got me good. I swear.
We got slap nuts, which I didn't expect either. Listen.
No, he got all his shit off.
He did. Only thing he didn't say was, and I want to make sure that you don't piss me off. But unless WWE owns a trademark on "Don't Piss Me Off" now, which I remember that was one of the first times that my little brother got in trouble because we were playing WWF Attitude, and that was like his catchphrase in the game was Jeff Jarrett would go, "Don't piss me off," and my little brother didn't know what that meant, so my little brother just walks in he just walks in the room when my mom is there, and he just goes, "Don't piss me off." And my mom was like, "What? Turn that damn game off right now."
Ruined that fast.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, fun stuff, man.
So, either way, the chat's trying to give out their guesses, but I want to know, who's the accomplice? Who is Swerve working with?
Who?
Like, I have ideas, but I don't know.
Who are Swerve's friends? History? Could be anybody. Yeah, could be anybody.
But
could be Montezzi back there. I hope it's Montezzi, honestly.
I don't know when we're gonna get the. I mean, it's got to be somebody that would get a reaction.
It's Montezzi.
It's Montezzi, yo. He comes out in a cloak and he just like throws his head back.
Oh man, I'd be out of here. That'd be amazing. Think about it.
We'll see when the reveal is gonna come about.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing with the Rick Ross stuff is cool is that I think it would be easy to say that Swerve is just showing up with these cool celebrities and like, what do they have to do with his character? I mean, his character has been from day one that I'm a mogul, and I really don't need to be here because I'm already a star. I just happen to be a wrestler too, and
Exactly.
so it's basically him showing all of his famous friends and going, look, I'm better than you at every chance that he gets. And I think that is part of what makes his heel character so fun too. Is just like, no, I have all these famous friends. Don't worry why they're here. They're here for me.
Right. He's like, didn't you see me at Rolling Loud? I was with Who Kid. I don't
I'm
have
the
to be
guy.
here.
And so I
Yeah.
think all of that stuff is great. I think him doing all this champagne, it's like, yeah, I'm not really drinking this, but it's just the fact that I could be on TV standing next to Rick Ross with champagne. You can't do that. Get on my level.
Yeah, it's great stuff, and it's been planted from almost jump because
Yes.
he's been. I mean, we knew he was going to be working heel at some point in this role. It was just a matter of when, and it's great stuff. But like more than anything, it's also bringing eyes.
Yeah.
The fact that Double XL posted the video the very next day. Oh my God, I saw it too. But
Yo, so no.
I saw it too.
So them using Shade Room as a source
Yes.
on television
Is amazing.
is equally nasty and hilarious at the same time.
It's amazing.
What the hell? They
I
use
love
Shade
it so
Room
much.
Shade Room as a source is
No, I was
hilarious.
fucked up on Wednesday. Shibata, Rick Ross in the Shade Room back to back. I didn't know what was going on. I was like, yo, it's going down right now. But yeah, using that, I'll be scrolling now. I've scrolled 3 or 4 times past random Facebook ads that don't. It'll just be like the Kevin Gates thing and this Bow Wow thing. I've seen a couple things that are just like AEW wrestling, and it's like some random hip hop thing. Like they're getting into different places that AEW before Swerve came was never like they wouldn't talk about this before he started doing his thing. You know what I mean?
I think I'm ready to just start parroting what he keeps tweeting. He's the best acquisition of 2022. Tell him he's wrong at this point. He's had a bigger impact on their programming than any other signee this year.
Boom, boom, boom.
That's just the truth of the matter. Speaking of boom, 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 West Side, bro. I know this is your thing. It's New Yorkers, guys.
Hey.
I know New Yorkers.
Careful.
Every time you get a
Phil.
chance, it's just like I was the
Careful,
first to
Phil.
do this. I'm the best. New Yorkers gotta relax, man. New Yorkers gotta relax, man.
Phil, careful. Okay.
It is so funny because people will be less like, man, why you got to remind us every time you get a chance that you're from Chicago? I am not in any way as bad as New Yorkers. Not even close. Not even close.
I mean, y'all Chicagoans are up there though.
New
Y'all
Yorkers-
y'all be getting
New-
y'all shit off.
because we felt like
New York.
Not a lot of the like not a lot of the first like the new like y'all just want to get y'all credit. New York's are like, no, we're the first, and no
we
one has
had to
ever done
fight
it
for our
better than
credit.
this.
Because if it wasn't for the Bronx, this rap shit probably never would be going on.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
yeah, that's what I'm
Uptown,
saying.
baby.
Now tell me where you from.
Uptown, baby.
Chicago is not as bad. I just think that Midwesterners have to fight for our credit every time we get a chance because we have to listen to New York guys and Cali guys tell us every chance we get a chance.
Jesse said the audacity of Chicago Phil telling New York to go down.
No, again, New Yorkers are way
saying.
worse. Nah, we're not doing this. New Yorkers are way worse, bro. Way worse. Way worse.
I love it.
This is great.
This dude from New York once told me, y'all don't have no street basketball players like that in Chicago. We basically invented it. Like Rucker, I was like, fam, y'all don't get out of here, man. New York acts like they invented everything, man. Like, come on, bro.
Shout out to
I
New
don't
York.
know.
Shout out to Chicago. Shout out to
I'm from the
everybody.
West, so like we didn't invent nothing, but we made it great.
I'm from
So-
Cali. We did invent that shit, and we got the best weed. So yes, we win. Thank you. Have fun.
Nah, I am so many things I'm in on right now. Like I've had an annoyance for years about matter of fact, I once gave Swerve this, and he did credit me with this when he said it on Swerve City podcast a couple years ago. He's doing an episode though, and he said that hip hop has a history of showing more love to pro wrestling than pro wrestling shows to hip hop.
Huge
and I have
fact.
felt that for years. That we have rappers dropping references to wrestlers
So
in their
long.
songs for a really long time. I remember, I forgot who said it, but it was a rapper in the 2000s. But I remember he was like Kurt Angle is true. And I was like, the fact that, like, again, you have to be watching to even know that.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it's the famous Doom line. Prepare to get hurt and mangled like Kurt Angle's rookie year.
yeah, like that's the thing is, hip hop showed love to pro wrestling for a really, really long time. Method Man, like guys were showing love to wrestling. But wrestling, it took a long time for wrestling to really embrace it. Like, I remember in 2003, I heard about one particular wrestler on the roster who was like, we should be using Never Scared by Bone Crusher as a pay-per-view theme.
Yeah,
and it
should.
was like,
They should have.
They
yeah,
should.
like at the time, right? And they were like, nah, Stained. That's what we're going with. And it was
Right.
like, but no, this is like what's hot right now, and it's fight music, and it would work if we used it.
Nope.
And no, they were like, no, we don't deal with any of that stuff. And so it took a really long time. I remember it was SummerSlam 05 when Get It Poppin' by Fat Joe and Nelly was the theme song to...
Correct.
that was the theme song of SummerSlam, except that's removed from the network, by the way. So if you going back and watching it, that is not there. But that was the theme song to SummerSlam 05. And we started to see traces of it, but it took a really, really long time. And I feel like it's really just been in the last few years, really. And their hand almost had to be forced, right? With like Wale doing things that he does and really bringing himself into wrestling and West Side Gun being front row at all of these events. So I am all for it because I've been calling for it for years. Wrestling has needed to embrace hip hop for the longest time. Like theme songs to your TV shows should have been hip hop a long time ago.
Come on.
And so I'm just liking seeing it now. I'm liking seeing all of this stuff more and more. It's been really cool. No matter what company it's from.
Yeah.
And in that vein, give Baron Black his credit, man, because what he's doing with Battle Slam is amazing.
Yeah.
And
Look, I saw people saying it jokingly, and then I kind of like fantasy booked myself into it. But people are like, man, if this continues with guys like Rick Ross showing up and Trina, like we might actually be headed toward Def Jam Vendetta. And I went, maybe we could actually.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could probably fantasy book my way into a series of pay-per-view, or a whole pay-per-view full of matches with rappers. Got
Got to get Scrappy back. Speaking of Baron Black. 'cause
Scrappy.
Yep.
But he appeared on Rampage, right? Like that's the thing. That's all of this has been happening. It's actually been kind of cool.
Hey, it's been a crazy year. That Atlanta show was nuts, huh? There was all kind of rappers out there. Yeah. It's great. I love it. Of course, I mean, I'm super.
And talking
biased.
about Atlanta
Hip-hop
shows,
and pro wrestling, it's my shit. So yeah.
Bringing it full circle, the Migos. They were at
Day one.
They were at day one.
Yep.
That was just this year.
Damn.
So I am always happy with wrestling embracing the culture in terms of embracing hip hop culture.
yeah,
and
wasn't straightening a song for that theme song as well?
I think so.
That pay per view as well.
I think they did have Amigos Jam too.
Yeah. So EVP of Talent Relations, false accusations promo of the year.
Accusations.
Accusations. It's great stuff. I loved it. Let's see. We've got Eloquent talking about the verification. Says, I'm verified and have had to fight impersonators. This sucks.
It's gonna get
Fight
rough
every
out
day,
there.
man.
It's gonna get rough.
It's gonna get rough, and I'm not. I'm worried about Monday. I wonder what Monday's gonna look like. Like, I almost just want to like spare $8 just to
Don't do it.
create an Elon Musk account and get it verified.
That's true.
And what we're about to talk about, Crown Jewel, Caden says, IMO, Paul's booking gone downhill since Extreme Rules. It's only been a month.
We didn't talk about boom, Colt Cabana.
Yeah, we'll talk about that very shortly here. Because we're still talking about a little bit of Dynamite. Ronald says, "Hey Grapsody, do you think for Full Gear or Final Battle we get Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club in ROH Steel Cage Warfare?" Oh, I didn't think about that.
That's a great idea, but I think they're trying to get this belt off Jericho by then. Maybe.
Nah, I don't know what you're talking about, Reg. He about to hold that title until next year.
Oh God. But no, that's a good idea. The Steel Cage Warfare. That could. I was thinking of Blood and Guts, but same shit almost.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what was structurally the difference between, there was no difference, was there? It was just War Games, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Same shit. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess no, you have AEW Blood and Guts. Like, I guess you can't really. Yeah. So Colt Cabana. Also,
kind of predicted.
Yes. Shout out Phil.
Yeah. Wasn't really surprising, but it also was kind of surprising.
This was very funny to me. Listen, sometimes pettiness is annoying when it's done in a corny way. Nobody wants to see it, but sometimes pettiness can be really funny.
Yes.
And this was very, very funny to me. The second his music came on, I howled. I was just like, no way. What are we doing?
Yep. They did it. They did it. Went right for it.
And I got my jokes off. One of the jokes I got off, I was like, "Dang, y'all had to cheat to beat Colt. Man, my favorite would never."
Wow.
I thought that was hilarious, but everything about it is funny. But before I get into any of that, it was really great to see Colt. I have to admit that it was great to see Colt and seeing him come out and almost give the Edge entrance with the tears in his eyes. That he's excited to be back on TV made it even better. I was like, no, this is a good moment for Colt. But everything about it, us getting that report that Jericho is stepping up as locker room leader and telling us that he gave Punk this talking to where he told him he has a cancer in the locker room. And then weeks later, he just happens to be wrestling Colt Cabana on television.
Is there a conspiracy theory, Phil?
Conspirators. Conspirators. It was nice to see Britt bring back that Easter egg, by the way, this week. Conspirators. But I thought that was hilarious. I thought Jericho basically giving a stroke, like, who is this guy? What is he doing here? And it's like, you know exactly why.
Yes, you brought up.
And I mean, the Observer thing that came out this week basically confirmed what I thought, because they were saying it was a great locker room morale boost. We saw people that were getting their shots off. I saw the Trent tweet where he was like, for the boys. Bobby Fish was tweeting from the Impact Zone.
Right, from the empty Impact Zone.
Yeah, I seen it, and I just was like, I see what this is for. Hey, and more power to him. I think this is a great thing. But yeah, funny stuff, man. I thought the fact that he came in and he challenged as a former Ring of Honor champion, and they didn't say why he was champion, who he happened to be.
Who was his partner?
Tag team champion with.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, who was his partner? He held a championship. We don't know with who though.
Yeah, this happened to be a former Ring of Honor champion. Well, what title did he hold? He's a tag team champion.
That's not important. No, we don't.
Not important.
Yeah, that is hilarious. They can't say which title he held and with who.
I did.
So yeah, I think people
that.
People have been jumping out the window with this whole like they think this is like this changes everything. Oh my God, Colt Cabana came back. That like I don't think.
Well, they think it's a line in the sand drawn,
right?
And I can see how even the talent may think so. But yeah, I think like it is worth considering that Colt Cabana is extremely well liked behind the scenes. He's seen as a team player, because I've seen a lot of people who are like, well, he wasn't really on TV much anyway. Like he made like 2 appearances on Dynamite in 2021, and one of them was while Punk was around. So like, what's the big deal? And others are like, look, people just didn't really want to see him ostracized, and so yeah, it was a bit of a morale booster.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the perception of it is Punk punching down. You were treated like the biggest star in the company, and it looks like you got a guy that's not on TV, that's not
Right.
really bothering you, out of the company and demoted him. And I don't think it's a smoking gun that people have made it out to be. I think people that are just like, oh, well, this proves that CM Punk got him out of the company. I don't think
Right.
I don't
It
think
doesn't
that
prove
necessarily proves this
Mhm.
because I think I if you take anything from that from that presser that night, I thought that Punk was very genuine in his frustration about having to still talk about Colt.
Yes.
I read that as him being like, look, I didn't have anything to do with that. I did not get him demoted. Now, he could have been lying, but
Right.
it felt very genuine for me. I don't think he would have gotten that upset about it if he was just like, nah, I wanted him gone. It very much felt like I haven't had anything to do with this guy for years, so why would I want him? I just don't talk to the guy if I don't get along with him.
It looks that type of way, though.
But it does look, the timing is
It
crazy.
looks that type of way.
The timing is crazy, but I do think that also TK saying in that same presser that no, this was me. I decided to demote him. It had nothing to do with Punk, and it very much felt like the analogy I gave somebody is if you're having a party and one guy is there and the cool guy that's coming that everybody wants to talk to, he's gonna be pipe for the lardy, and he's getting there, and you know he doesn't get along with this guy. It's like. Yeah, can you leave?
Like, hey man, like, hey, I ordered you an Uber. You know, I was just out of the kindness of my heart.
Yeah.
If you want to go ahead and take it, that'd be great. Yeah. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and so
outside.
I think that that's what it was. I think that Tony was trying to play mediator here, and he was trying to get him off of television and out of the way.
Just to not
drama.
ruffle any feathers. Yeah, you see what
And
happens when drama happened.
And I could be totally wrong on that. But that's just how I read it, given the information we have, both from Punk and from TK. Now, I still think they mishandled everything with Colt. I still think that they did need to demote him. I still think letting it play out the way it did more harm than good. And I think in the long run, bringing him back this way, and for some people confirming that you cowed down to CM Punk might not have been a great look. But boy, was it funny. I'm sorry. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other news, by the way. FightfulSelect.com did drop during this show. Remember how I said there were 3 women that were being talked about as returns to WWE? I guess that's a thing with me talking about there being 3 women, and I only got 2 out of the 3 for AEW because one ended up being signed back to WWE. But in this case, of the 3, all names are out now because Fightful Select reported about an hour ago that Mia Yim, there's interest in bringing her back. That's the 3rd.
Good for Mia Yim.
3 women, because it was Tegan reported last week by Fightful Select. And, of course, Chelsea Green has been rumored for some time.
They should absolutely license Mia's music that she's been using on Impact. Cause
Yep.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give her Def Rebel music.
No.
Just take the music that she got there.
Her music is actually her whole aesthetic. Bring all that. The lights, everything.
Yeah, just bring her music over from Impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Tony P said, "It's okay, Will. It is a running gag now." He's referring to the fact that I miss Humper chats every once in a while. He says, "So fun nerd question time for Phil and Will. If Raw, SmackDown, Rampage, Dynamite, New Japan / Stardom pay-per-views, GCW, Impact shows, whatever you want, were Marvel / DC movies, which ones will they be?"
I was going to say, well, I can't be included. And then you got to the Marvel and DC part. And I was like, oh, I see.
I don't know. I guess we're talking franchises. It's tough, right? Because I feel like Raw is like the Snyder movies, in that they're really long and they make great trailers, but ultimately it disappoints far more than it comes through. But that one really long one was, I guess, okay.
I think he said events, right? Events and shows.
Yeah.
In terms of events, All Out is essentially Endgame because you had all of the guys come out at the end.
Yeah.
I think you could throw out other weird like Survivor Series is Civil War. Could they
Civil
do
War, yeah, that's
You
a good
did
one.
do picking the sides.
Oh, by the way, no, I guess I don't have anything on that.
Oh, baby,
we'll talk
by
later.
the way.
Let's see. Bullet for Life says, "Hey guys, first time I'm watching live in a long time. Thank you, Phil, for the Shibata knowledge. I'm going to Full Gear, and it's my first AEW pay-per-view. Any time management advice?" He says, "And will be there. And will there be a meet and greet, even though it's on Saturday?" Let me think about that. It's a good question. I don't think so because
It doesn't feel like it, right? Because those be Rampage and then the show's right the next day, right?
Because they are doing Rampage on Friday. They might do they've done meet and greets at Rampage, so I could absolutely see there being a meet and greet there. As far as like, 'cause I think what you're referring to is like a fan fest,
Right.
which they've done at the previous events, but those were all on Sundays, and then the fan fest was on the Saturday. I don't know. I suppose they could do one on the Sunday afterward, but nothing's been announced yet, and it's in 2 weeks. They probably would have announced that by now. I don't know. I'll be at Full Gear as well. I am. Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. Lots of people I know are going to be there, and I will have completed all 5. I will have been at the media scrum of all 5 pay-per-views this year.
Wow, look at Will Washington.
Actually, technically 6 because I was at Supercard of Honors as well. But I was at Revolution. So that's it. Revolution, Supercard of Honor, Double or Nothing. Really, the only Tony Khan presser I missed was the one he did in the summer.
We're never gonna get over this Shills thing with all this. They got ammunition out the ass.
Nah, I won't stand for this slander and accusations anymore.
Accusations.
False
accusations.
I'll be there. And yeah, I'll be there at
I
Full
don't know
Gear
if I can
this
show
year.
my face at pay-per-views anymore because everybody's trying to say you show up here, man. I got hands for you.
I'm gonna see ya.
Which again, why
Relax.
are we talking like that, man?
Yeah,
like,
don't say that. Like, stop challenging everybody because you're gonna be in the same. Stop bringing that energy. We don't need that energy, right?
I'm just gonna say this because I've seen it several times on Twitter. Stop offering people your hands when you won't even put your face in your profile.
You can't. Like, I don't know what you look like. So how are we gonna fight if I can't pick you out of a lineup, bro?
It's like, yo, stop, bro. Cut it out.
So stop it.
It's fair. That's very fair. As far as time management is concerned, I mean, you definitely want to get to the pay-per-view about an hour before the doors open. Get yourself some food, get all of that, because I think that's the best. And also, it's going to be the best time you'll have with like merch lines and stuff. So I would say get to the venue an hour before the doors open. Which the doors will open an
or
hour.
you go to the t-shirt stand during the Judas entrance. It's perfect time.
You can do that too. Doors will open usually an hour before the scheduled start time of the show. So either way, and just take the time to mingle, man.
Yeah.
You know what the cool thing is? So like I'm really social. I know that.
Definitely.
So maybe this doesn't apply to everybody.
It doesn't.
But what I was going to say is the thing I love about events and gatherings is when people are gathered for the same reason. Because then you kind of know, like, it's one thing to like go to a bar, right? And you're like making small talk with people, but you don't necessarily know like what drives this person, what motivates this person, right? So you're kind of finding out. But it is nice when you're going to an event and everybody's there for the same reason. So like you guys know you're all fans of whatever this is, or like whatever it is, whether you're going to a concert, right? And it's like, but you're going for your favorite artist. So you know everybody around you is also there for that artist. So you know you can just turn to the person next to you, talk about this artist, and they're going to respond, right? Like that's the kind of stuff I love. And I love that about wrestling events because I love that it does feel social. It does feel like a gathering. Have fun. Have
That's
fun.
hilarious. I love being at wrestling shows, observing
Eh.
people watching at wrestling shows is the funniest shit ever because
What?
everyone's so exactly what Will's describing. People are super excited. People are anxious. People just want to yell and really most people just want to talk to somebody. Honestly, they want to talk wrestling with somebody live in real life because we're all stuck on fucking social media all the time. So when you see somebody, you're like, oh, this person's excited too. I like that shirt. Oh, do you like this person? Like, it's a good vibe for exactly what Will was describing.
Yeah,
I will
wrestling
say,
is
though,
a communal experience, man. So
Mhm.
it's supposed to be that way.
Right.
I will say though, one of the funniest conversations I ever recall having was back at All Out 2019. It was obviously a month before the Wednesday Night War was about to start. These are potential AEW fans. These are people who are all coming out in Chicago to see this big second AEW event and see the champion crowned. But a lot of them were still kind of on the fence about what AEW was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I remember talking to this guy. It's a complete asshole. And I say that because he pretty much had all the Nyla Rose comments to make. Yeah. I saw him at the show, and he was so mad when she won the Battle Royal, the Casino Battle Royale. So this guy also said something that it was really dumb in hindsight. But a lot of fans thought this because I was thinking about going into the Wednesday Night War. It is revisionist history that people thought. If anybody ever tells you, whoever thought NXT was going to win the Wednesday Night War, revisionist fucking history.
Revisionist
and I'll tell
history.
you why. So the numbers were never available for how many people were watching NXT. A good chunk of people thought it was the majority of the WWE audience. That I remember having arguments with people because I could just see from the social media numbers. I'm like, it doesn't look like it touches Raw and SmackDown. And they're like, no, I think the majority of the Raw and SmackDown viewers watch it. Like X-Pac, love X-Pac, but he said that he was like, once NXT gets on TV, I think it's going to beat Raw and SmackDown in the ratings. And I thought, you are like really overestimating how many people are watching this show. I was talking to a guy, this guy, and we were just talking outside of StarCast and All Out Weekend. And he's like, I think AEW might be cool when it debuts. It's not going to come close to NXT though, because I think NXT once it's on TV, it's going to beat Raw and SmackDown. It's going to demolish Raw and SmackDown. And I thought you really don't recognize how much people value the touring crowds.
Yeah,
because I think having a stationary crowd has hurt the. I think that does play a role in how people view NXT. But I just think it was funny that this guy was shouting. He's like, nah, NXT, it's going to do 5 million viewers every week. It's going to be the show. It's already better.
Mil.
I know. And
crazy.
I think about back to this all
No
the
wrestling
time.
show does 5 million.
Man.
Brother.
Can't
Nah,
even
people
combine
really
them all to
thought-
get to 5 mil.
Because people have this conflation, right, of I like this thing more, so therefore it will do better. And if it's not doing better, then I shouldn't like it.
Right.
And so
5 mil
the
is
fact that
crazy.
there were no numbers associated with NXT at the time had people who liked NXT going, well, this show is going to beat everything because I like it. And then it turned out, that's not quite the case. It's not quite how that works. And now a lot of that mentality has turned to, well, if the show is not doing great, then I can't like it.
Right.
Because now I can see that the show I need to like is the show that's doing the best, so I can validate my view. And I think it's funny in hindsight, but just be social. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at their takes now, that is absolutely cue the Curb Your Enthusiasm music because
Yes.
that did not happen. And not just that, if you would have told me back in 2019 that I would not be watching NXT right now,
Right.
I would have been like, no, NXT is one of the best wrestling shows on television. It is not that anymore. And not
It's
just
been okay.
that it's,
I have been watching recently, but I've been watching it through the eye that I'm supposed to be watching it with now, which is don't go into it expecting a good wrestling show because you're going to be very disappointed, right? But I only watch it now from the perspective of, could this work on Raw and SmackDown? I guess it could. With a little more seasoning, I could see this working. That's the only thing I watch it for now. I'm not necessarily entertained, but do I see what they're trying to build here? And sometimes I actually do get some enjoyment. But that assumes that I'm look, all my wrestling watching is it's all dependent on my son.
Right.
And Billy asks the question every day, every fucking day. Billy goes, "Hey, Dad, is there any wrestling on today?" And then I gauge his reaction when I say, "Yes, it's," and then he goes, "Oh, we don't have to watch that." And so, like, on Mondays, he'll be like, "Hey, Dad, wrestling today?" And I said, "Of course, it's Monday." And he's like, "Yeah, Raw, that's right." And then Tuesdays, he'll be like, "Dad, is there wrestling today?" And I'll go, "Yeah, it's NXT." And he'll go, "Okay, I'll go play outside."
That's how I felt too. Oh, that's good. I'm gonna go play, bro.
No,
cool.
I'm definitely
Now.
about to go touch some grass, bro.
Yeah, straight up.
This happens every day.
I'll talk to you later, Dad.
Wednesdays, it's, "Hey, Dad, is the wrestling on?" I'll say, "Yeah, it's Dynamite." And he'll go, "Yeah." The only thing is, Dynamite is going to get our sons hurt. What I mean by that, because shout out to my brother Curtis, whose son
Curtis.
Curtis.
whose son unfortunately lost a tooth jumping off his couch doing dives watching
shit.
Dynamite this week.
Don't try this at home, kiddies.
And I will say that's my son too. My son Billy is all about I posted that video of him doing a Panama Sunrise because that's what he does watching wrestling. He like mimics the moves.
He'd be out there going crazy on that trampoline.
Yeah, this is what my son does.
My God.
So, yeah, Dynamite is going to cost my kids everything.
Just continuing the legacy. Billy sounds exactly like me. It's wrestling on every day. It's not. I'm wrestling all the time. It's just exactly how I was at 9 years old.
And Thursdays, it's the same deal. Billy will say, "Dad, is
there
there wrestling on?"
Like that.
Yeah, I know. He'll say, "Dad, is there wrestling on?" And I say, "Yeah, Impact." And he'll go, "Oh." All right, well, we can find something else to watch.
Damn.
Wow.
Billy. Man.
Wow.
I'll tell you, Billy. It's
but
all
Yeah,
right.
I mean, look, he's 8 years old.
Yeah.
He knows, like, I knew what wrestling I wanted to watch at 8. I wanted to watch Nitro. I wanted to watch Raw. You couldn't show me anything else. Like, I remember the first
honestly,
time
at 8 years old, I would have watched anything ever. Like, if it was wrestling, I'm fucking watching it.
I would have thought so, but, like,
Pretty obsessed.
I had 8 years old. When I would see like the little commercials for like buying the ECW DVDs, it didn't appeal to me because until I was a teenager. When I started seeing them as a teenager, I was like, okay, this actually does sound kind of cool. But like at 8, nah, I just wanted Sting, man. I just wanted.
Honestly, that's what pisses me off about my WWE fandom is that they convinced us that everything else sucked. Like Vince was like, if it's not this, it sucked. And I hate that for my childhood because I believe that shit. Like
there's people that
you know
still
what I mean?
believe that today.
People still believe that. They're still ridiculous. But for a long time, it was like, this shit ain't WWF. I don't care about it. And now I watch like old NWA from like 89 and I'm like, this shit is cool. Like, I don't know what they were talking like. It doesn't need to be a big flashy show. It could just be two fucking wrestlers beating each other's ass. And I get upset thinking about like there's a lot of years where I was just like, if it's not WWF, don't even talk to me. And
I was the same way. First indie show I ever went to, I was 12, and I was just like, this isn't WWF,
right? Like, who are all these clowns?
Yeah. I mean, I will say that I forgot who it was, but I watched somebody wrestle a referee.
Oh god!
And the referee also had, and if this is the most indie thing I can describe, and the ref was also reffing the match while also wrestling in it.
What?
I know it's the most indie shit.
That's a GCW stipulation match right there. The rest of the match,
and he's like,
also the ref.
Like he gets out the ring and like starts counting and counting himself, and then when he gets hit with the finisher, he like throws his hand out slowly and counts 1.
Sounds pretty good, though. I might want to see this with my own eyes.
I remember this. Yeah, it was the most indie thing I could see. I was 13 years old. The promotion was CWO, and and that was it. I remember that.
Colorado World Order.
I don't know. It was something I don't even remember. But that was one of the parts that stuck out to me was a ref being in a match that he also had to ref and doing a bunch of ref spots.
That was memorable. All these years later, you're still like, man, I remember that.
I mean, I'm still
wild.
Surprised I haven't seen enough of that today. Like, I feel like that's something that I could see. Like, I could have seen Bryce doing just a couple years ago.
Definitely. For sure. And Chikara.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one of those things. I mean, hey, honestly, Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan is one of the. I think that is a genuine one-man show. Like when you think about going out there and having a one-man performance out there in front of an audience, that's match.
As if you even as silly as you think it is, that's art to do that.
When you think about somebody going out there and basically having to stand and do this in front of a bunch of people,
right? It's crazy.
Yeah. But that's why I told you guys like a few weeks ago when we were talking about the brace stuff. Sometimes bad wrestling is good. Like I'm sorry, but sometimes something that is not like that doesn't make sense. Sometimes it's good. I'm sorry.
I agree. You got me with that.
Let's see. So D-Lo says, joining late, but Boosie said it best. Rappers were looked to as heroes, and now it's hard because they're getting killed, especially young. R.I.P. Takeoff. Side note, don't know if this was discussed. Don't know who took more L's this week, Glenn or JD. Glenn, for sure.
Glenn looked like a big dork.
Far and away.
Every time I think of Boosie now, I think of him looking straight at the camera and screaming, "Die your face then."
Boosie is a fool.
Boosie's hilarious, man. Don't agree with some of his takes on, you know.
I don't agree with none of his takes.
Yeah, I'm like, none of it for me.
No, he's a character, man. Dude,
he is a character. I'll agree with that. Meet Norma says, much love to Grapsody and this community. It's crazy out there, and all we got is us. Stay Uzi, everybody.
Appreciate that, Meet Norma.
Y'all gonna kill this Uzi thing, bro.
It's dead. It's dead.
Y'all gonna run this thing into the ground, bro. Yeah.
Chi-Town Spurs wants to know, by the way, says, Phil, thoughts on Patrick Williams? Feels like we're finally seeing him figure it out.
He played good this week. I want this guy to be good, man. I want this guy to be successful, but I just don't know, man. I think Javonte Green has played really good, though. Come on, man. Back-to-back wins, baby. Brooklyn took that L because Zach buried those guys in the fourth quarter. Then we put Charlotte to rest the next day. Back-to-back wins, buddy.
You know what made me feel old today, by the way? Seeing when I was watching the Nets game, and I saw the 10-year anniversary of the Nets on the court, and I just thought the Nets still feel so new to the Brooklyn Nets feels new to me because like my brain doesn't even like if you said to me New Jersey Nets, that would feel natural to me. I'd just be like, yeah, okay, New Jersey Nets. That makes sense.
My dad still calls them the New Jersey Nets.
Yeah, like I had a Jason Kidd jersey. I definitely, I don't know, it's the New Jersey Nets. That's what it is. And so when I saw 10-year anniversary of Brooklyn Nets, I thought it has really been 10 seasons.
It's crazy. Time.
Yeah, they've done a lot in 10 years.
The Thunder still feels new in my brain, but I know it's been years.
Yeah, OKC definitely still feels like a new franchise. But yeah, when you think about everything that Brooklyn has done in a span of 10 years, like that whole Big Three experiment that they tried to do with the guys from Boston, that was a horrible collapse. You think Hove being attached to the team, the Russian owner, all of this stuff was before the Kyrie and KD saga, and now you've got Ben Simmons there and Cameron cursing them out on IG. Yeah, it's been a wild 10 years for Brooklyn.
Yeah, wild 10 years. We're moving the Nets, BK. Like, that feels like a recent line to me, but that line was 10 years ago.
10 years old.
See what I'm saying?
11 years ago.
See what I'm saying? New Yorkers complete the line. Chi-Town, D Rose. I'm moving the Nets to BK.
See. But you hated D Rose in Chi-Town.
I didn't. I always hated the way people turned on Rose. Gotcha. I didn't hate D Rose because
I mean, look, the reason people turned on D Rose though was because, I mean, it went from when you go from 100 to even 60. The fact that people saw you at 100 the way they saw him that season, and then anything less than that was like
that gets frustrating.
I still didn't think it was justified because I remember what Chicago basketball was before 2011. I remember before we had to suffer through some bad teams. Derrick Rose legitimately put Chicago back on the map in basketball.
He did.
Right.
He made Chicago basketball matter again. And so I always thought that people were extremely ungrateful.
My brain fixed D Rose into D Wade. That's what I was talking about. My bad. I meant D.
Oh,
Wade.
I can't stand
Said,
Wade.
yeah, when I
Yeah,
said you
people do
hated
that.
D Wade, D Rogue, I meant D Wade. Sorry about that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, get the weight out of here.
So Orion says Swerve and Malachi Black, universe building. That's a good option for who could
like
be
it.
behind the camera.
It pains me to say this, by the way. I appreciated what Wade did this week, and
Oh yeah,
putting-
yeah.
I appreciate what he did this week, and standing up against that and saying like, I'm here, I am her parent, and what I'm being accused of isn't right, and yeah, I appreciate what he did this week.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. D Wade is really good with that stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, I guess in terms of theories, this is going back to who it could be. I was thinking about how if the MJF stuff's not a swerve, I do feel like the firm could use a new top heel.
They could.
And
I don't believe you, Max.
I know if it's not swerving in itself, I could see maybe Stokely being behind it. That'd be cool.
By the way, Stokely showing up this week with a Kente scarf on as a shot at Max was amazing. That was such a small note. If you blinked and you missed it, it's great.
the way that he looked down at it when he came out, yeah, very subtle.
Yeah, it was great.
I like it.
And finally, let's give a couple of crown jewel predictions.
Mhm.
We got women's tag team titles on the line. Alexa Bliss and Asuka defending their newly won tag titles in a rematch against Damage Control.
Dead in the fucking water, those tag team championships.
In the water. I don't know if I would say all that, but in the water. If you watch Kinda Chan TV and you watch Asuka eat lunch in her hotel room and be excited for her being champion again, it's hard to be that upset about it.
I guess prediction.
Yeah, I think Alexa and Asuka are gonna retain them.
I'll say Damage Control wins them back.
Yeah,
that would be so insane.
I think there's a longer
so
term.
weird, right?
Yeah.
That'd be so insanely stupid. I think the champions are going to retain because I am predicting that Bailey is going to win later in the night.
And that's why I also think Bailey could also walk out with the belt. Which we'll talk about that one. Last woman standing, Bailey versus Bianca.
I think Bailey's gonna pull it out. Yeah.
I mean,
Because I thought she was gonna pull it out at the last time, honestly. So
Yeah.
Having a way to not pin Bianca, but then again, I don't know. I know that if Bailey doesn't win here,
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
It's curtains.
Yeah, curtains. Tag titles on the line. Usos versus Brawling Brutes.
Come on now. Usos win.
Yeah. Braun versus Omos.
This is interesting one.
Bronny Man's winning.
Yeah, it's Braun.
Yeah, Braun's not okay. I can see it. Yeah.
He's winning that. Come on.
Steel cage match. Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross.
Can you escape the cage? What are the rules?
Yeah,
if you can escape,
Can you escape the cage?
if you can escape, Drew's going over.
No, you can't escape having to watch this match, Reg. You have to watch it.
Can he leave?
I think
leave?
I think it's Drew. I think Drew just because Karrion won the strap match and Drew's gonna get his win back. I think.
Yeah. Speaking of win back, one of these matches. Oh god.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But we got the Judgment Day versus the OC. I feel like OC has to win their first match.
Right. I would think it should be OC, but I don't know.
on.
I mean, I'm not totally
the greatest tag team in the world. They won that trophy in Saudi Arabia, so I figured that is gonna give them the edge over Judgment Day. And come on,
also, like you can't put Dominic Mysterio over. I mean, you already did put him over
God.
AJ Styles.
you can't put him over.
You can't put Dominic Mysterio over.
I was gonna say,
Seriously,
but then again, he already did beat AJ Styles. So.
like,
You can't put Dominic.
but yeah,
over.
OC should be the ones on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna predict OC.
Let's see. We've got Brock Lesnar versus Bobby Lashley.
This is win back city right here.
Brock beating another black guy,
Yeah.
riding off into the sunset.
Yes. But I don't know.
I could see them double
surprise us.
DQing this one. Look, it's either Brock wins or they chicken shit out of it. That's the Vince in my heart saying
When
that,
Bobby Lashley already talking about the third match, that's not a good sign. When he's already like, "Oh, we know what's going on here." So.
I think Bobby is gonna lose here. I want Bobby to win. It makes more sense for Bobby to win with the story they've been telling with Bobby all year.
Right.
But I feel like Brock's gonna win.
yeah. I also think that like Brock hasn't done a whole lot of winning recently, and I think that they probably
he was Royal Rumble winner this year.
Yeah, but then he proceeded to. But that was also the same night he lost the WWE Championship, and that was also the
Roman been throttling his ass all year.
He also lost at WrestleMania. He also lost at SummerSlam. Like when it matters, he's lost quite a bit. As long, but that's the thing.
It's a black guy on the other side.
It's when Roman's involved. When Roman's involved, Brock loses. When anybody else is, Brock wins.
There's a brother.
Because also this year, I forgot he beat Big E this year.
Yeah, I mean he's beat other wrestlers he shouldn't have beat. I do think that he has when it's time for him to put other guys over, he does do that well. That is one of the underrated things about Brock.
Yeah.
I do think when he puts Seth over at SummerSlam, that was one of Seth's biggest wins.
Right. And I don't think this is Brock Lesnar saying I need to win every match. I just think that for a while they were like Brock Lesnar has to win every match.
That's how they booked him.
Yeah.
So
and finally, Logan Paul will challenge for the WWE Undisputed Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defends the title against Logan Paul with Jake Paul in his corner.
One lucky punch, Will Washington. Logan Paul, your new WWE Universal World Champion tomorrow night, beating Roman Reigns. 1, 2, 3, front page of SportsCenter. Logan and Jake Paul, the new WWE champions, and his brother just beat Anderson Silva.
I would tap out at that point. I think that would be the point where I'm like,
is that it? Is that worse than David Arquette? This isn't worse than David Arquette.
It's not worse than David
But
Arquette.
I tapped out of David Arquette. I was like, okay, WCW is done. It was a good run. And I was one of those like, look, when Vince Russo and Eric Bischoff revealed themselves and the New Blood stuff was happening, I was one of the people on the internet screaming, all right, pendulum's about to swing back in WCW's favor. We're back, baby. This is it.
We're back,
you were
baby.
wrong, man.
I was like, look, because it happened in Denver too. It was at our arena where the Nuggets play. That was the Pepsi Center where they came back, and I was like, man, it's even happening here. This is it. The WCW's back. They had a couple years. You know, the WWF had their couple years, but now it's swinging back in WWF's favor or WCW's favor. I was one of those people.
Nope.
Yeah.
And I tapped out at, they made David Arquette champion.
See, if this one doesn't feel as offensive to me, like if Logan Paul win, I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I can't believe they did this. I'd be like, all right, that's not that shocking to me.
That's because you're not like invested anyway.
That's because you're ready to get your laughs off and get your jokes off.
Come on, we want to have fun.
I wouldn't melt down at this. I wouldn't be mad at it. It would be pretty offensive in the sense that I don't really care about Logan Paul at all, and I think it is a weird decision to get somebody that's supposed to be a draw that came out on SmackDown 2 weeks ago and didn't really get a reaction like that and make him champion. That's kind of a weird decision to make, especially when Roman is undeniably the hottest star in your company. That makes absolutely no sense. And it would be just one of those things that's so laughably bad that I would just be like, why would any company do this?
Yeah.
But no, I don't think he's winning. I don't think he has a chance of winning, honestly. I think he's actually going to take a Superman punch and get knocked the fuck out. I think that's where we're going.
Yes, agreed. Well, everybody, this has been a great edition of Grapsody. I love you guys. I love all the stuff we got to talk about. And come back next Saturday. Actually, next Thursday is when you get to hear from us next as a trio. Because we got Ask Grapsody coming up. Also, if you're here on Fightful, stay tuned because Coexisting, Rob and Maggie are actually going to be doing the Crown Jewel prediction show this week. And so they'll be doing that today. So you'll get to hear their crown jewel predictions. So check that out. Again, that is happening right here. YouTube.com/Fightful. Subscribe to Fightful Select. $5 whole. Get you
Is
so
Ronda
much
not
content.
wrestling on this card? I just thought about that.
She is not on this card. No.
Ah,
Interesting.
very interesting.
Ronda's had a all around bad second run with this company.
So
Everybody that
they almost had her. I don't know why they decided. Like, I don't think she should be a heel right now because they were doing the right thing, getting
think she
her
should
over
be
as a babyface, and then it was like, oh, now that she's getting over, now we're gonna say she should be a heel. I'm like,
you gotta start building to the Becky match, so she has to be a heel.
I guess.
She's not gonna be a good guy when the man comes back.
Yeah, Becky's gonna
cheered.
get cheered as fuck
Yeah.
when she comes
So
back.
no, she's got to be a heel, and it is very apparent on Ronda's face that she does not want to be a good guy. It shows every time.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
that's
make her
true,
a
too.
heel.
It just felt like the fans were getting into her immediately after she lost the title to Liv Morgan. Either way, guys, thank you. We will. Oh yeah, and then also we've got lots of great content post show, and then tomorrow there's going to be a Crown Jewel post show as well, and then Sunday I'll be on Denise Salcedo's channel with another edition of After the Week. It's a great show if you haven't checked it out. Denise got to kill me with her Marvel takes this week, and that was After the Week. Check that show out. Other than that, folks, that's it for this edition of Grapsody. I'm Will Washington for Philip Lindsey, Righteous Reg. We'll see you next time. Have a great day. Peace.